Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the mission, K.BROCK. K.BROCK, how you doing? How you doing, man? I give you applause. We'll put them in post. Y'all know how I do. We'll put them in later. Let me try to get to where I'm chilling and still in this mic. I think we're good. How are you doing tonight, K.BROCK?
Hey, I'm chilling, man. You know, feeling good. Sipping a little Remy, you know.
That's good. I see you got it. You say it's a little Remy, but it's a great big cup over there. Audience can see. Great big cup.
Chill out, man. It's a lot of ice in it.
Yeah, a lot of ice. Keep it cool. Keep it cool. Okay, good. I'm just putting on the headphones so I can keep an ear on the show as we move forward. I probably should have something for you, but if you feel comfortable, it's really not necessary. I just try to keep a little monitor on the show. K.BROCK, this is our first time, although we're very friendly. We've been at a lot of events together. We've joked and smoked and all the good things that the rap and hip-hop community does when we're out at live events. I thought we were going to have the battle of the blunt versus the joint, the white boy at one point, but it was all love and we didn't need to get into it like that. Let's just start from the beginning. I want to talk about your businesses, I want to talk about your music, and I want to talk about mushrooms. But before we get into that, we need to get the intro. Pardon me, I've been accused of talking over people, so I'm trying to be more reserved tonight. But in season 2, I'm trying to be a little bit more reserved. If there were times when I talked over people, I get excited, I get passionate about some of these conversations. So as a response to the critique of some of my fine critique people out in Facebook land, I'm going to try to let the artists talk. And so hopefully that'll work out tonight with K.BROCK, because I'm really interested to hear your story. All the artists I've talked to, I can't think of one artist that I've spoken to that hasn't had an interesting story in one way or another. So that's why I do the show here at The Mission. So where does K.BROCK, where did K.BROCK grow up at? Let's start at the very beginning. Where did you grow up, and what is your first memory of hearing hip-hop?
Okay. So, I grew up in Pontiac, Michigan. We call it the Act Town.
Okay.
Went to high school there, I moved from there right after high school, maybe like 2 years after high school. I moved to Lansing, Michigan.
Okay.
And then stayed there for maybe 19 years.
For the people that don't know anything other than what we hear certain rappers talk about Detroit, what was the difference in the two landscapes? Was it country, suburb, city?
Nah, Pontiac is actually like a...
Oh, well, I've heard of Pontiac, which is used to be the nice area of Detroit, or one of the nicer areas on the outside of Detroit. No?
Nah.
Maybe back in the day.
Maybe back in the day.
Okay.
Maybe back in the day before me, but...
So Pontiac Lansing cityscapes.
Pontiac...
Just trying to paint the picture. It's a city landscape.
Pontiac and Detroit is similar. Pontiac is just smaller. It's just super small.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So everybody knows each other. When I moved out of Pontiac, I maybe knew 60% of Pontiac. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it's tiny, but same as Detroit, it's a city. But I actually thought it was a city. So Lansing is more country, more, because it's right next to East Lansing, and then they got the agriculture and all of those. So you see horses, you might see sheep and shit.
Why do I feel like I've heard of East Lansing more than Lansing?
Because it's the MSU, Michigan State University.
Oh, that's it exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, pardon.
Yeah, I actually moved to East Lansing when I first got there. I was kind of stayed right near the college dorms. I didn't really go to Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
My partner did, one of my homies did, but moved there. I met my family and shit, man, and we moved out here, man, so I'm out here now. I was battle rapping for a minute, man. I battle rapped for maybe 3-4 years. If you follow Battle Rap URL, what is it, RBE, Pontiac Youth right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a huge scene, but and I was a part of it, happy to be a part of it, you know what I mean?
You have to forgive me. I haven't been involved or really been paying attention to battle rap culture over in a couple years, honestly. But at one time, I watched a lot of battle rap culture, and in the URL, there was a prominent. He fell back earlier than some. He's kind of falling back now, but there was a prominent URL rapper from Pontiac. Of course, his name escapes me because I'd like to talk about him. But
the one you probably talking about is JC.
Well, JC is from JC. But I thought there was another guy. I thought there was another guy who kind of in the battle rap world they used to make fun of how he dressed in his sneakers. And I can visualize him, and I can picture the battles he had, but I can't remember his name right now, unfortunately. So we'll move on. JC, very good though. Mm-hmm. JC battled my good friend Radio B in Richmond.
Okay.
Because I have some of my hip hop friends in Richmond have become very connected with the URL. Radio B battled JC, as I mentioned. Smack has actually come to Richmond and had events. My good friend Rob First is one of the videographers now for the URL and does some of their video editing and things. So I at one time and had friends that very much still was connected to the battle rap world. And for people outside of the Michigan area, it's difficult to picture. But Pontiac, a lot like Detroit, just smaller. Lansing, more country. East Lansing, mainly.
Lansing's more like Arizona.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Spread out, if it were. Because country sometimes has a negative kind of. We don't want to bring a negative vibe to it. Sometimes country. I came up on the East Coast where to New York, everyone outside of New York was country, and it was very much a negative thing. You know.
I wouldn't say. I would say rural. More rural.
Rural makes sense. Agriculture, farmland, horses, cows, like we have out here.
One Walmart or two Walmarts.
Right.
The city. You know what I mean?
Fortunately, in Arizona, we have a lot of stores.
Yeah.
No matter how. Yeah, you get a lot of stores. So, in your battle rap, your 3 or 4 years in battle rap, I want to clarify, that was in Michigan?
Definitely.
Okay. Because I would have to think, especially after 8 Mile and the turn of the 2000s, that, I mean, if you're in Michigan, battle rap had to have been the focus, right? Because that's how certain people got paid. That's how Eminem blew up the world, and and a lot of people got paid off that movie. A lot of rappers paid and did work that weren't even necessarily in the movie. So that was the vibe. Even in Richmond, battle rap became a big thing. Everybody wanted to battle rap. Battle rap events were very popular, and that was back in the day when it was more. I've got some rhymes. I don't know who I'm gonna battle. You might be like tournament style. You might just get up against anybody back then.
Yeah.
But enough of that. So 3 or 4 years in battle rap. What's the good and bad you took from that experience in battle rap? What was the best part of it to you? And what was the downside?
Well, I met a lot of people, man. I met a lot of people that I probably wouldn't have met.
True.
In battle rap, a lot of close friends still cool to this day, man. A lot of solid niggas in battle rap. Got me used to performing in front of people.
And that's high pressure performance. That's definitely like boot camp for like rap. Like, because it's,
I fucked up bad one time.
It happens. It happens. I hocked up a loogie on stage. They thought I was going full blown throw up. I've done it.
Yeah, man. It gets you ready for anything. It's like no scenario that you can go and performing one of your songs that you were performing over and over again. There's no type of pressure that is going to amount to somebody calling your mama a bitch in your face.
I agree. It does not compare. It does not compare. Even the most boring crowd that doesn't care about you is not the same as an evil battle rap crowd, or someone like you said standing across from you saying the most evil things they could think up about you. It's a tough world. What was the downside? Meeting people for me is always a great thing, and I think battle rap is like a fight almost. Like even people you have animosity with, if it's just battle rap, a lot of times after the battle, everybody can peace up and even be cool and feel like they went to war together. You know what I mean? Like, what was the downside to it to you?
The downside of it, man, is that it kind of got cheesy. It got repetitive. And if you don't if you make it to a certain level, certain people, you know what I mean, not gonna want to battle you. Certain people gonna want to battle you, but it don't make sense for you. So then you want to go, and then you're gonna start wanting to do it for the money. Once you start doing it for the money, you're no longer doing it for the initial thing you started doing it for in the beginning. You know what I mean? And then you lose interest. And once that happens, man, it's hard to continue that same fire and animosity. Like if I try to do a battle right now, I don't know how it will go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I have to trigger something. Like I used to have to trigger, you know, some a different side of me, and I used to flip. You know what I mean? And it's hard to try to go back there like right now. So I think just being repetitive, man, it got cheesy and you know, just time consuming. It's super time consuming.
It is. It's a lot of work. You know, it ends up being a 5, 6, 7 minute battle, and people don't realize a lot of times you work a lot of hours, days worth of hours. You know, writing, memorizing, working out the physicality. I do appreciate it because I believe it's like this crazy mix of drama, acting, comedy, stage performance, confidence. It's just this incredible poetry. It's just this incredible mix of talents. You know, it's not for the lighthearted. And I've also known people that were very much in the street that know in their heart they can't battle because, and not about being in the street, but very much some men can't. They can't take another man without taking it to a different level. They, you know, and I respect the real battlers that know a battle's a battle and it is what it is, and then when it ain't what it ain't. You know what I mean?
It's a form of meditation, man. To be honest, man.
Yeah.
Because you literally meditate to get to a certain level, to get to a certain place of relaxation, and if you can get to a place where nothing can upset you, because being mad is a choice, you know what I mean?
It is.
So you can choose to react to what they're saying, or you can just choose to not react. Like literally, it's a choice. So once you get to that certain level, man, where you don't have to react, it's a beautiful thing, man. Like nothing can really it's hard to make me mad. Like right now, like in life, it's hard to make me mad. Like it's extremely hard because I know that I don't have to be that way. It's a choice.
It's cool that you're at that place. That's the place I'd like to get to. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so what brought you to Arizona?
I came out here for a job. Like I stopped the music. Like before battle rap, I maybe made a few songs, man. But you know, I really didn't take it serious at all. Like didn't pay for the beats. Didn't really get nothing mixed or mastered. You know what I mean? Just a couple bullshit songs. Stopped making music because when I first started, I had one kid, and 2 years. I had 2 kids in 2 years. You know, my sons 18 months apart. You know what I'm saying? So
18 months apart.
Yeah,
Same woman.
Same woman. Yeah.
Irish twins. You know they call that Irish twins.
Yeah, I heard that.
But that's because the Catholics don't believe in birth control.
Mm.
But apparently at the time you didn't either. I don't know.
I thought the weed was no birth control, man.
I hate it. They told us those lies.
Yeah, man.
You know, but you know the truth of the matter is, there is a small truth to it, but it has to do with more the seeds. And nowadays, you know, the hippies back in the 70s, they were smoking the seed, the stalk, and everything in between. They didn't care. You know, shit joint popping off like firecrackers. But we are mature and we buy better weed and we don't smoke seeds anymore. So I don't. You know, I had my son at 46. I'm a crazy weed smoker. My wife thought that it was, you know, when she knew I wanted a child. We have a 22-year-old stepson, so she was already done. You know, her son was already in the teenage years. So, you know, she agreed to have a child with me, and we began like not using protection, which is the best thing in the world. Ladies, that monthly birth control is making you more crazy than you need to be. It does. It's hard not to be on it. I understand nobody wants to have kids when they're not ready, and I didn't want to either. I waited 46 years, but that monthly birth control will make you a little crazy if you've ever had experience with a woman in your life that close.
I just found out crazy shit, like the type of pads women use triggered that type of shit too.
I bet.
Like just the chemicals that be in their pads, man, can either make them act a certain way, can make their period last a certain length. Like it's crazy, man. Like the way our bodies set up, man.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. So you got to Arizona because of a job. You had never really taken rap serious.
No.
And you can't just, trust me, I dropped down in Arizona. You can't just drop down and start battle rapping.
No. See, I'm done with the battle rap, man. So
right.
I was removed from that maybe like 7 years. I was my last battle maybe 7, 8 years ago, maybe even 9 years ago, man. And so I came out here for my job. Ended up moving around, stayed over there on Van Buren Street. That was the cheapest place I could find when I first got out here, 3-bedroom. So I stayed over there, man. Then I found out what that area was really like. And so I had to get
Please elaborate.
So
just maybe not for me, for the people at home. Please.
For sure.
When you say that, when you found out, you say that like you quickly moved.
Nah, I didn't. I was in a gated area, so it really didn't affect me. But on the outside, like
outside the gate, wild shit was going on.
Oh man, you see hookers walk up and down the street, man. You see, you drive 6 o'clock in the morning, driving down the street. You see niggas on bikes hold magazines up at you, like basically telling you that that's what they got.
Okay.
You see, it's just everything, man. Like it was actually across the street from some projects type shit.
Okay.
And so it was just like Van Buren, 18th Street, 32nd Street.
Just to, for some people that are seeking that out, they might want to go there. For others, they might want to stay away. Yeah, and for me, it totally depends on if I have the family with me or not, or if I'm trying to meet the next new rapper or something. It could go either way. But unfortunately, I never lived there. So you moved to Van Buren. You figured out. I don't know nothing but things are starting to. I'm starting to figure things out. I can look around. I wasn't born yesterday, and I'm putting 2 and 2 together. All right.
It was just I would say it was a bad area, but the little section I was in was gated. It was an apartment complex. It was cool. You know what I mean? So
right.
He was good with that.
Yeah.
And then I figured out that I kind of made a change. I was already found a path. That's the reason why I came here. That's what led me to Arizona, truly. Because I used to be one of them type of niggas, man, that used to kind of think negative. So when negative shit happened, it wouldn't faze me. And now that I know what I know now, that I was basically just killing my own vibes. Like
you would bring, not only killing your own vibes. I'm a believer that what you meditate, pray, think about, you're bringing to yourself. So if you were projecting that, but at the same time you were bringing that, like you were putting a call out to all that to come to you.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I found out something. I went to a seminar, but who Damon John is, FUBU.
Yeah.
A seminar, man. I paid a couple bands to go to a seminar for a weekend, boot camp. Me and my wife went to that, and it kind of got me on a different path, made me look at money different.
Just for clarity, the purpose or the main goal as promoted of the seminar was business, or personal growth. It was business growth. Okay.
Business growth to help you look at money from a different point of view, and basically let you know that everything that you know about money is completely opposite of what you need to know.
One question: 2 bands is a lot of money. Did you feel like you got 2 bands worth of information from the weekend?
I got 200 bands worth of information.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd like to talk to you about that later. Can I get $200 worth of information? Okay, I got you. All right.
So it's just it helped me learn that that everything is a balance. Like, in order to have good, you gotta have bad. In order to have sunshine, you gotta have rain. So I understood that something bad is gonna happen. That doesn't mean that something good can't come out of that situation.
True.
Everything happens for a reason. So now, if something happens bad, I'm not tripping because it wasn't meant for me. If I don't get that job, or if I don't get if I don't win that competition, it ain't meant for me to win. Like it's a different purpose in that journey or in that mission. So I just came out here. I said, if it don't work, it don't work. It just wasn't meant to be. And so I separated myself from every bridge or safety net I could think of, moved out here, don't have no friends, no family, nothing to fall back on. It makes you stronger because you have to be. You know what I mean? Nah, you good.
Yeah, I agree. The wife and I moved out. The wife and I moved out here with no friends or family, and with a 1-year-old. So for a year and a half, we didn't have any babysitting because I didn't trust anybody to keep my son. I didn't know, and luckily her mom moved out, so now we have some babysitting, and he's older, so he can talk. When my child couldn't talk, I didn't want him to be with strangers. Period. He's got to be able to talk to tell me if something's going wrong. Yeah, and I'm not playing. This is like you said, I waited till I was 46, and I'm probably not going to get another one unless I cheat, and that's not worth it. So I'm probably not going to get another one. Don't want another one. I'm happy with the one, but he's my one, so I'm going to make sure he's good, What changed your mind in Arizona? Yeah, on Van Buren. You went to this seminar. So what's next? You get all this information. What is your next move to do with that $200K of information?
So my credit was popping. Before I moved out here, and I was about to buy a crib in Michigan. When I was young, I was on the. I felt like I was young, but I was just early, just hit 30.
Can I ask you a question? When I first got credit, I got a Sears credit card because it was the easiest one to get. And I couldn't, this is before it was like a Visa or MasterCard. It was just for Sears. It was like $1,500. And I blew that joint up 2 or 3 times and paid it off before I started to learn about credit and for me, it was actually emotional buying. Like, I hate to say it sounds like womanly shit, but for me, if I felt down, shit wasn't going right, I could always pop out the Sears credit card and go buy a speaker or some stereo equipment or something, and it made me feel better. How did you arrive at 30 with good credit? A lot of us have trouble with credit in their younger days, living week to week, checks bounce, shit happens. How did you arrive at 30 with good credit? Who instilled that in you?
So the seminar did. So that helped me. Nobody ever talked to me about credit, bro. This is one of the things that we taught is that nobody ever teaches us about credit when we're young. Nobody talks to us about it. Nobody teaches us how it works. The school system don't teach us about it. But
that's the wildest thing.
One of the things that fuck your whole life up. You know what I mean? Your whole life is dependent on this one thing that's never even mentioned in school, not one time. And so if your parents don't fuck with credit, you're not gonna learn that at all. So now you gotta learn all of that on your own. You gotta go through all of this bullshit, all of this, and that's something that sometimes the other side that maybe do know about credit. They understand how credit works at an early age. You know what I mean? They get put on their parents' credit card and they can never make a mistake because every mistake they make, their parents covering that mistake. When we on our side, the mistakes we make is going against us. So we come in the game.
I mean, I didn't live this way, but I've heard stories of parents putting bills in their kids' name.
I'm a victim.
And I know that's real, and I don't want to make light of it. And but that's a real thing.
I'm a victim of it, bro. Like, this is the thing. I tried to get a credit card when I first turned 18. They start sending you mail, sending you shit in the mail. Send me something in the mail. I'm 18, naive as fuck. I'm trying to get the credit card. I get denied for it. I'm like, how I get denied? I call them on how I get denied. I ain't never had no credit card before in my life. They say, well, you had a collection. I'm like, collection? What is that? I didn't know what a collection was. They explained that a light bill was in my name for $489 that I owed. And I'm like, when was that? They said it was 1992 or something like that. I said, I was 8. You know what I'm saying? Like in 82 and 92, I was 8. I said, how? And they was like, well, I was like, my mom probably put it in my name or something. You need to go and sue her or something. I said, I can't sue her. So
that's wild because you're legally a minor and can't make any contractual legal agreements before 18. But yet here you are hemmed up with a collection in your name because shit was tight. Mom did the okie doke. Let's be honest. You admitted it. Your mom did the okie doke. She had to do what she had to do, to make ends meet. But,
life had to be on, you know what I mean? I don't father for it, you know what I mean?
It was your contribution. As a parent, I think of it that way. She was going to work. You wanted lights. You know, you weren't old enough to work. It was your you wanted to play video games. It was your contribution, right?
Yeah, actually, I said yeah.
Right, because you wouldn't know no better. Yeah, mom, put it on the kid. Right, all right. But you know, we love mom. No disrespect to mom, but okay. So there you are. That's one thing you can teach people is so. To me, I don't understand any other way to get out of that other than paying whatever the $400 is. So that's all you can do, right?
So I didn't, you know, I'm early. I'm just now going to fucking Baker College, and so I ain't got no fucking money. Now, not even $400 to pay that shit out at 18. You know what I mean? And so I had to do something a little bit different. So I went back to doing something I didn't want to do. You know what I mean? When I first got out of Baker, it was maybe like a year. I only went there like a year. Racked up a bunch of student loans doing that shit. And so I had so much debt, bro, that every year at taxes, they were just taking my shit. Student loans was taking all my taxes. So I figured out that I ended up getting, after that seminar, they taught me something that I ended up getting my student loans pushed to the side and started this program where I paid like $5 a month for like 10 months. And then it goes back to out of collections to the school or the bank. And when that happened, everything went from red to green. So now it made it look like, now this is all from when I started school when I was 18, and then this maybe when I was 30, and everything flipped. I had credit history. My age was fucking 18 years old, or 12 years of credit, you know, history. So that right there shot my shit up once everything flipped. Because student loan was the only thing really killing me because I couldn't get shit. So I couldn't really fuck up my credit besides student loan. And so when that shit flipped, my credit went up. Then I moved out here. My credit, I ran into some bullshit happened with my whip. Fucked up my credit, and then I built it back up and bought a couch. And that's when I moved over to here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what's up. Home ownership is big. Salute to Wes Crave. He's out here buying homes left and right. You know, and it's a real move. I bought my first house in about 2000, and it's the only thing that's made me consistent money is owning a piece of real estate. And luckily, I met my lovely wife, and we moved out here, so I still have my property, even though I don't live in it. So it's become an investment. It's become a part of the way I live. You know, I make a little money on renting. So salute to that. So you moved off Van Buren. I feel like this is a celebration moment. This is boom. I'm in Arizona. My credit is up. I've obviously got a good job. I've got this wealth of information. Salute to FUBU. People like to make fun of FUBU, but they're some smart guys, man.
Genius, bro. Like, y'all see me? Yeah, shit.
Yeah, I mean, he got you turned around, so you're a personal. You're like a personal success story for him and whatever he does, no doubt. So it's a celebration moment. When I bought my first house was a modest house in a neighborhood next to not a good neighborhood, but it was a nice neighborhood where I lived. What is it like? Do you throw a party? Where are you at socially at this point? Have you met people? Are you still kind of solo dolo in Phoenix? Because for me, to be honest, if it wasn't for hip hop, I'd probably still be like not knowing a lot of people. Hip hop is really the only thing that's introduced me to people. That and my wife's neighborhood friends. So salute to them. But how are you in your social position in Phoenix at this time? Because for a lot of people that move to Phoenix, I imagine it's kind of tough. You know what I mean? Definitely. It was hard for me, but
it's definitely tough, man. At first, I didn't even care, man, because I'm a loner anyway, man. Like,
okay.
I do everything by myself. I smoke by
Kid
myself.
Cudi, right. Midnight, Stone Alone type shit. Right, I got you.
And so it didn't really affect me, and so that's why when the shit shut down.
The COVID, yeah.
COVID hit, it didn't affect me at all. Bro.
It actually helped me because I'm the type of husband that don't want to. Give me my computer or give me my headphones and my computer. I can make a beat. I can DJ. I can make some artwork. Like it's a million things I can do in this house and be perfectly happy.
Yeah.
As long as I got some weed.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when the shutdown first happened, I didn't have my new crib yet. I was still over there.
Okay.
And so.
So this is recent. So congratulations within the last year. So Castles. We're gonna get to the project later, but Castles really is a celebration of you just getting your castle. See, how I'm thinking about this is I gotta get my timeline straight. The Crown Royal of the Weed. I gotta get my timeline straight. Okay, so okay, all right. So we were talking about socially. Where were you at that time? You were kind of loner, solo dolo, but you didn't care. COVID hit, you didn't care.
So COVID hit, I didn't care. I was grown.
It's better to be solo dolo when COVID hit, for real. And if you're the kind of person that didn't mind being a loner, you had a huge advantage during COVID. But go ahead. So you're growing weed. You grow weed? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
I want to get back. I'm gonna get back to it, man. I was doing it though, like tough. You know how apartments have a couple bathrooms. I used one of them, the one that came to the main bathroom for it, and I learned how to do it. You know what I mean? I never grew no gas, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know the process of...
It's scientific.
It is. I didn't know that.
You got to learn the nutrients and the lights.
It's like the seeds are, if you look at them genetically as people, how many seeds you have to plant to find LeBron James if all of these seeds are basketball players?
Wow, yeah.
And I didn't know that. I thought you could just plant one seed. I got this seed.
I'm glad you're telling me this now, because I thought that until just now. Like, I thought,
I thought that you get one seed out of some good ass weed. And that random.
It made good ass weed.
It's gonna grow some good ass weed. Nah, you gotta have maybe 10 seeds, and hope that one of them motherfuckers is LeBron.
Right.
And then that's when they clone that one. Take leaves.
You find LeBron, then focus on LeBron.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then you scrap everything else, and then you do it again, and then you find your main one. So I didn't know none of that. So I was just maybe doing 2 seeds at a time, and it wasn't really no gas, but I was fucking up, and I was really doing it right. It just wasn't no good weed. And so, but yeah, I was doing that at the time when COVID hit too. So then I stopped doing that. My apartment switched managers, so they did a walkthrough. So I snatched everything down, took everything out, really didn't put it back up. And when COVID hit, I started doing music again, like last year. So I literally just started back doing music. I actually just started taking it serious. I ain't never get a song mastered, mix and mastered until.
So was Snitches? Was that your first record back, or first record you got? What was the first record you got mixed and mastered? The first record you said, "I'm taking this serious. I'm going all the way."
Back to the Streets.
Okay, Back to the Streets.
Back to the Streets. I was on Black KINGZ. Black KINGZ dropped last August.
Okay.
Snitch dropped on Fat KINGZ in May this year, and so. Black KINGZ, I wrote that maybe in 2 months. Wrote it in 2 months. It was 11 songs. I didn't even I didn't miss, bro. Like you know how you write songs? Like, I'm gonna go into it, but I didn't have to write every song I wrote. I put on the album, so it was like all in a row. Like I didn't overwrite for the album.
Right.
I didn't do anything. Every song I strictly knew that this was going for the album, and then I just shuffled them the way they needed to be. And so, but like I was still learning how to rap. I'm still learning how to rap. Like I'm not, and to my standard, like I'm not as good as I know I'm about to be probably in a year or 2 years from now. But my content. And I know how to rap, because I used to know how to rap, so I know how to rap. And so, but it's just rapping. It's just when you rapping for listeners, not just bars. It's a melody you gotta have when you rap. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to get to. Is having more melody with my shit. You know what I mean? But that's something else. But socially, you wanna know where I'm at socially. But that's where when the music started and COVID kind of lifted. And that's when I started getting socially inclined with people. I made a post.
So like me and you are like ground zero almost. Like you, Smokey, me, like you. This is the people you're just because I see you and Smokey had a connection.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say I made a post on Facebook saying I needed a feature, and I made tag Smokey in the post, and he was like, "Say less." And I listened to maybe once. Yeah, I listened to one song when he had Snowfall out. I listened to it. And I was like, oh, he right up. We rap about the same exact shit. So I wrote a hook. I had the beat already, wrote a hook. Went in and invited him to the studio. I recorded at the bakery with Lil Willie. Invited him to the studio, man. He came, knocked out his verse. And since then, bro, it's been love. He been showing nothing but love. And I just been making my own moves from there. He kind of opened the door for me. Once he opened the door, introduced me to a few people. Now, shit, I fuck with Apollo, Philae Banks. Shit.
It's good names. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. Smokey's good people, you know. And I sat with y'all at Big Doobie's event. We sat at Smokey let me sit at the table with y'all, and we smoked and drank and drank THC drinks. They didn't have any alcohol really, but they had THC drinks. And that was a great event. And to be honest, coming from Richmond, I'm still not used to the events where you can just smoke openly. Yeah. I usually overdo it because I'm used to like sneaking around, and for years I'd be in the alley smoking in the cut, you know, like in Richmond, you know, it was a different situation. But now I'm kind of Arizona. I'm used to it now. I even took some hallucinogenics and hosted a party one time, you know, so I'm reaching out with that. So here we are, present date. What we didn't get. One thing I wanted to mention is, do you think, speak to this, a lot of people, still to this day, it's thought of, and to me hadn't really been misproven, that battle rappers a lot of times have a hard time making songs. I think it's two different skills and they kind of go against each other. Do you think the time you took off in between the two helped you like calculate your skill or redirect your skill? Or why do you think people that are active battle rappers do seem to have trouble writing songs or connecting in that way?
They're doing bar mode. It's hard to make a great song. I feel like it's hard to make a great song and all you're using is similes and metaphors. You can't. Hey, it's Cassidy tried, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's hard to, because when you battle, you directing every single bar at someone. And so now making a song, you have to touch everyone instead of attack everyone. And so a lot of people don't know how to finesse, you know what I mean, when they've been aggressive so long. I just think about it, if you had a boxer had to slap box, you know what I mean, that's been boxing all of his life, now he got a slap box.
Yeah, how do you learn how to pull back?
Exactly, you know what I mean? And so I feel like that's hard to do for a battle rapper. Me, I don't feel like I got deep enough in battle rap to where it affected my song making. I use schemes a lot. I feel like if you're a scheme rapper, then that doesn't affect your song making. But when you are a punchline rapper, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like battle rap can do mixtapes. So battle rap is the same, and I feel like that's more equivalent to like a mixtape track. You know what I mean? So if somebody doing a mixtape track, it's gonna be more punchlines on there, more bars, metaphors. When you making a song, a real song, you gotta make it catchy. You gotta make sure somebody can relate to it. You gotta make sure it's you. You gotta sound authentic. You gotta be believable. So it's a lot of different lanes that making a song falls under versus you just going out there shredding someone. I feel like that's more, battle rap is more in a stand-up comedian lane. You know what I mean? Just a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
In front of somebody.
I think there's definitely a comparison between And even in stand-up comedy, they have roast battles where it's very similar to battle rap. It's just jokes and not the trigger gun, I'll kill you. Which a lot of times the white guys or the I should say the Canadian battle rap league leaned more on. Some people lean more on jokes, and not as much on the gunplay. What influenced you? What changed your mind? What was the spark that said, I think I want to do this for real?
So I had some dudes at my job. A couple dudes. One of them I'm actually real cool with. Yeah. You're gonna hear him on Fat Kings too. I'm trying to put him out. Dope artists, man. Dope artists. He wanted me to get back into rap. Like, he seen my battles and shit, and he wanted me to get back into rap. I'm like, I'm done with that shit. I ain't fucking with rap no more. And this was all 2 years ago. Like, and then another one of my homies, man, his name Thirsty. He wanted me to get back into rap. And so I kind of was like, all right, man, I'll write to a beat. I wrote to a beat with him, and then he did the song. And when he let me hear the final version of the song, all of a sudden, so he used auto-tune when he rapped. He let me hear the song. For some reason, I had auto-tune all over me. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can't have auto-tune on me. Like, I don't like that shit at all. Like I ain't got nothing against auto-tune rappers. I just don't like auto-tune on me. My voice too deep. It just don't sound good at all to me. And so I was like, I need that shit off my voice. And so he was like, I can just take your verse off the song. I'm like, well, just do that then. And so that triggered me.
So wait a minute, he as opposed of you directing how you wanted your voice to sound on the song, he just took you off.
Yeah.
Or he was that die hard for auto-tune.
It was mutual, bro.
Okay. All right.
I didn't feel like, I just didn't want to be on the song no more. And he was like, he just take me off the song. I was like, let's do that. So but that was before COVID. And then when COVID hit, I was like, you know what, I'm about to just do this shit for real. Since I got everything in place now, what's hard for an up-and-coming artist, bro, when I'm without whatever, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one that feel like this. For an up-and-coming artist, a young one, it's hard as fuck to put 100% focus into music and you struggling in life in any kind of way.
No doubt.
And once I got to a point where I wasn't struggling in life no more, I felt like I can indulge 100% into music. Like, I made my lady a stay-at-home mom, you know what I mean? I said, one of us got to focus on our dreams.
Wow. Okay.
Like, we both can't go be going to work because we're going to be doing that forever. And we always going to be swimming, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the doggy paddle, I should say, trying to swim. But we always just staying afloat. And so I was like, you work on your dreams, I'll work and support you, support all your dreams. So she started a boutique, and online boutique that got popping. And then once we were able to, I was able to focus on my dreams there. You know what I mean? And so being that when COVID hit, I started working from the crib. I wasn't growing weed no more. So now I'm like, shit, well, I can focus on music. I can actually do music. And let me see, I had a lot of shit that was going on, bro, between the George Floyd shit, bro. I had my cousin, my brother, bro, my cousin, I'm talking about him like he's my brother, the same person, named Shaq. And he got killed, got murdered, bro. And so that kind of twisted me up, like, cause ain't nobody that close to me besides my aunt, you know what I'm saying, passed in my life. And so I didn't have nobody that close to me ever bad. And if you listen to every rapper, every good rapper, all of them got somebody that kind of passed or flipped on them or did something. It was always somebody close. It's like superhero. The villain to a superhero is always somebody close to them. Always somebody that they knew before they was a villain or whatever. And so it was like when that shit happened, it was like that pulled something out of me. And so you hear me talk about him a lot in my rap. Just like Nas talk about Ill Will in his rap. You know what I mean? And I feel like that did something for Nas. And it just puts you in a space where you want to create and you want to do something for them. And so I wanted to make a song for him, and that kind of turned into Black KINGZ with all of the police killings going on. You don't see if you listen to Black KINGZ, you hear a combination of the COVID shit, the police killings, me losing my family, and just wanting to get that shit out there and put a voice in the air and do something. Just wanted to do something, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I can't really do nothing. I'm not about to go out here in these streets and protest because it's COVID, you know what I'm saying? I got 3 kids. I'm a big nigga. I might not make it through that shit, you know what I mean?
We all concerned for whatever reason.
I was like, I ain't gonna fuck with that shit. So I was like, I can make a song, maybe, you know what I mean? So Back to the Streets, if you listen to that, that's when you see the video. That's literally about that. My intro to Black KINGZ is rapping about George Floyd still got their knee on their neck type shit. And Macon got Trump protesting at the White House, got Trump taking cover. And it's all about what was going on at the time. So it's like a time capsule. That's what I wanted the album to be. It's something that I can always go back to and relate to and know that this is what was going on at a certain time. Versus Fat KINGZ was more like a mixtape. I wanted that to be like a mixtape to Castles, but it was so dope that I just went on. And who really doing mixtapes anymore? And plus, it was all real beats on there. You know?
Right. We don't need, it's official project. And to me, that's it. And mixtapes are there for that reason. There's a whole, the Dipset years, the 50 Cent mixtape years, that whole like 2099 to 2005. There's a lot of music that lives in that world. I mean, Biggie, all his remixes where they took like Frank Sinatra. They did a Bob Marley and Mobb Deep was Bob Deep. It was just all, and that music is, you have to have it on your hard drive. You can't stream it anywhere because they took other people's music. But Fat KINGZ being all original music, why not? Nowadays, that's why the traditional mixtape has disappeared, because there's no room in the consumer marketplace for it, the digital space. So, whatever you got to do, license the beats or use original music like you did, and make a whole project, make a real project, so that you can fully monetize or profit off of it. So I'm glad you did that. And I need to go back and listen to your first project, because it was such a crazy year, and I got to imagine so much inspiration and motivation though for artists during that year. There's times, I rapped for a lot of years. There's very few times that I want to go back and rap again, but every now and then it was always a therapeutic release for me in a lot of ways. Do you think writing those songs during those times was somewhat of a therapy for you?
Oh man, most definitely, bro. Because even though I was a homebody, because I got a business, you know what I mean, that requires me to be at home, like shit, so I really
that's cool. I like that.
You know what I mean? And so it made it where, because I had a lot of shit that I was bothered about, man. Like, second time that I cried from someone passing, I was like, losing my cut, you know what I mean? And I found that shit out 5 o'clock in the morning type shit, man. And so it was therapy, man, because there was a lot going on, being cooped up in the crib, losing my family. A lot of shit was just, I had a nigga bottled up. And so I was able to get it out, you know what I mean? And that's always therapy. When you can release, that's all therapy is to me, man. Being able to release, get your thoughts and your emotions out there. So, because if you keep all that shit in you, man, you end up having what you can do.
It's bad. You know, we laugh about gas, about farts, poops, whatever you want to call them. But you know, if you hold that in too long, it'll kill you. And just, you think I'm joking, but have you ever? I try very hard not to hold my gas anymore. Back in the day, when you're dating, when you're with a woman, or with you know, you don't want to just be passing gas all the time. And a lot of times you may hold it, and I'm gonna tell you, it always comes back worse. It smells worse, and a lot of times it hurts when it comes back. And that's just a physical proof of a spiritual, mental thing. Like, you need to release things outside of you. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying, if something as simple as a poop can hurt or bring pain or hurt you for holding it in, what with everything that we go through in life, if you hold that in, what could that be doing to you? You know, and we don't even know. I mean, as human beings, we're probably still deaf, dumb, and blind to how the mental affects the physical, and you know,
we don't even know certain parts of our body even there.
Right, or what they were used to be used for, or whatever.
We don't even know.
I'm still trying to decalcify my third eye. You feel me? Because I've been drinking that fluoride water too long. But we won't get into that. So the ladies' business is flourishing. You're starting to get into your passion, your creativity. This apparently, Bill, you know, we just gonna set everything aside. Bills is being paid, houses has been bought, like life is good. You know, do you have all 3 children at this time?
Yeah.
Because this is like a year ago. I imagine you do. You got all 3 children. You're holding down the family. Life is good. Let's talk about some rap shit. Now, I guess I requested music. The first record I got from you, I think, was Snitch.
Yeah.
And I love the record. My only critique of that record was that you sound a little bit like 50 Cent on that record. Has anybody ever told you that before?
I said.
Do you hear it now that you listen back to the record?
I said that the beat sounds like a 50 beat.
The beat sounds 50 Cent. I would say that you reminded me of 50 Cent as well. And I don't mean that as disrespect. I don't mean that as disrespect. And to make it better, you remind me of the mixtape Trouble starting 50 Cent, not the meme creating comedic 50 Cent that we know now.
One of the few niggas that actually fuck with 50. Like,
and that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, you're much younger than me. I was a full-grown man, way outside when 50 came out and made his movement on the world. Where were you at when 50 Cent made his movement on the world? Because that was 18 years ago. 18. I don't want to date you, but you're a full-grown man now. Were you a teenager? Were you a child? Were you 17, 18, right in the time where, you know, get rich or die trying is such a huge impact. Do you think 50 Cent impacted your life at that time? Or?
Definitely, bro. That's when I first started. That's when I literally first started rapping, bro.
Okay.
Like freestyling.
Go and Dummy, some of your other songs sound nothing like 50 Cent. So I don't want to say that to intend that you have this issue with 50 Cent. But that song in particular,
it's the beat. The beat sounds like a 50 beat. And so, of course, it's going to have a 50 flow. And so I can definitely hear exactly I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
Like, 100%, that's why I ain't taking
Ghetto Korean Part 2 almost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Ghetto Korean Part 2
I
almost.
ain't no disrespect to that. Like, that's a compliment.
Okay, cool. Well, you know, it was a huge impact on all of us, but me being an older man at the time, kind of some things had solidified. I could only imagine being a teenager and having that, you know, that explosion of get rich or die trying. What is sum up to me your rap existence, your rap life up until now, battle rap, writing songs. Now you're pretty fully active. If you're involved with Smokey and the camp, then you're pretty involved now at this point. For you, all in all, what's been the upside and the downside to rap life?
Let's talk about the downside first. Downside is it's money consuming.
True.
It is money consuming, man. You gotta have your money right if you want to do this shit for real. if you ain't got your money right, bro, somebody always gonna have the upper hand over you. Always. Either you're gonna be getting something for free. If you're getting something for free, you're gonna owe somebody something on the back end, bro.
Favors.
Yeah. Or if you're getting something for free, bro, you owe somebody else's time. And if you can't be on nobody else's time in the music shit. And so this is one of the things why I had to do 3 projects at a time. So I have Fat Kings was done, Castles was done, and I also have Fat Kings 2 done.
Okay. So you're just rolling them out when you get ready at your time.
Because I don't have time. Because if I'm doing everything by myself, bro, I just don't have time now.
To make music and promote it at the same time.
Right.
And roll it out. I get it. I get exactly what you're saying. And while we're speaking about Fat Kings, I want to say I appreciated the subtle promotion of the Fat Kings project. I noticed it had, Fat Joe, Biggie, Heavy D. I'm not sure if you included Heavy D, but well, okay, you did. That's my memories on point today. So that memory, that my mind state goes back to a point in the early '90s, mid '90s, when Source Magazine actually did an article about the bigger gentlemen in hip hop at the time. Because at the time you had Biggie, you still had Heavy D, you had Pudgy the Fat Bastard, you had Big Pun. Big Pun, I don't think was even it wasn't even out yet. It was, it was when Heavy D was still rocking. It was like 93, 94. And they made notice that, hey, being a big guy in rap is a thing. And your whole promotion reminded me of that, because you kind of gave Fat Joe was one of them. Fat Joe was a lot fatter back then. Fat Joe was slimmed down. Yeah, he's Beijing Big Joe nowadays. But respect to the Joker show, out here doing it big, But yeah, your whole promotion was very heartwarming as a hip hop fan, and to me gave me memories of that Source magazine and just bigging up the big guys in hip hop. You're a big guy. I'm big on the positive and negatives in life, and maybe I'm just focused on that tonight. But the bigger guys in my life, although bigger guys generally tend to be scary at first, they've been the nicest guys I've known in my life. The bigger the guy, the nicer the guy. Is it a security that big guys have while they can just afford the niceness? Are y'all just not worried about a lot of the shit that little guys are worried about? Because it seems like little guys can be problem starters.
Yes, because they are...
The Napoleon complex and all that issue.
Big guys don't really want to be skinny. Skinny, little niggas want to be big.
I've never considered that. That's a gem right there.
Yeah. I don't want to be I'm losing weight because I want to be healthy. I don't want to be a little nigga though.
Right. Because there are a lot of advantages to being a big guy. Right? I mean, women find security. Even men in their own way will find security around a big guy. The big guy in my life, his name was Anthony Good. Big mustard, big Good. And he was an older, a guy who was a year or two older than me that took me in. He was a rapper as well. R.I.P. He is passed now, but he was a great friend to me in many ways that I could explain in great detail, but I'm not going to do that tonight. But like I said, bigger people have always been the nicest people to me,
I'm a comedian, bro.
Yeah.
I'm a comedian, man. If he raps it over, I'm going straight.
You like comedy? Let's talk about that. Who's your favorite 3 comedians?
3 favorite comedians, man. Richard Pryor.
Good choice.
Red Fox.
Great choice.
Ronald Hayes.
Awesome. I grew up watching Sanford and Son, and I also grew up listening to Richard Pryor records with the sound very low so that my mother couldn't hear. And I was in college when House Party came out, and Robin Harris was incredible. We bought the Baby Kids tape. We over and over, so those are some great choices there. I really appreciate that. I'm a big fan of comedy myself. I would love to go into comedy, except for at my extended age, I don't know that I can put up with the 5 to 10 years of you know, being on the road, being broke, being a struggling comedian would be hard for me, especially with the kids I have. But I admire comedians the same way I admire battle rappers. If you have the audacity to get up on the stage and be a comedian or a battle rapper, I think it's the same heart and courage, and I love that. I respect that. I have just so you know, in Arizona, somebody approached me about an amateur contest, and I went down and I entered it, and I got up and I did like 5 minutes. They had to hit the light on me. I got comfortable up there. You feel me? Like, I wasn't, people weren't roaring in the aisles or falling out, but I was getting a couple chuckles, man. And hey, it feels good, man. You know, I love comedy. Unfortunately, Floyd Brown was my only other comedy connect, and he's disappeared out of business. You probably don't even get the reference. But anyway, he used to do some comedy shows in his garage. Salute to Floyd. I've got no problem with him. I didn't invest in any pyramid schemes or wheel investments, so I don't have any problems with anybody over that. He got involved in some pyramid schemes and wheel investments, and it didn't go good for him. It didn't go good for him. He was the ringleader, and people was trying to wring his neck before it was over with. But let's talk about collabs. And you know, I get long-winded. I don't want to. The reason we're here tonight, that was the intro. The reason we're here tonight is to talk Castles. Your new project that's getting ready to drop. When is Castles dropping? August 14th. And while we say that, salute to Country Boy Black. He is home. I spoke with him today. His voice is booming. He's back healthy. He will be at the show. I'm not sure if he'll be performing, but he will be at the show. And at the show, we will be providing masks if anybody wants them. We will be temperaturing everybody's head on entry, and we will be wiping down the mics because, to be honest, there was some talk that the COVID was spread around the OT Genesis show. Several people have contacted Black and them, Country Boys ENT. I spoke to some people that feel like they and people they know got the COVID at the OT Genesis show. Me and my wife were there, but I wasn't performing. I didn't touch the mic. That might have been an issue. Everybody touching the mic if they weren't wiping it down. You bring your own mic. I wasn't giving a lot of daps. I was just chilling in the cut. So luckily I escaped, you know, in the room with the virus, man. And salute Country Boy Black getting well, because man, if things are going bad for him, he was on a ventilator, man. He was all the way right. When you're bigger, it's tough. But listen, how was we going to promote and have a show called Blackout 2021 if the guy named Black, something happened to him? I was like, oh shit, we got to cancel the whole shit. Like, I can't have a show called Blackout when the Country Boy Black has something bad happen. But he's incredibly healthy. He's back home. He has to learn how to walk again because he was just laid up for 3 weeks. Your legs stop working after a minute, so salute to him. August 14th, not only is Castles dropping, but we got a big party to celebrate the Castles release. And that's what we're doing with K.BROCK. Is that your birthday as well? Is your birthday that week?
My birthday is the next day, 15th.
Okay, the 15th. So it's a birthday party for K.BROCK and Country Boy Black, and we're celebrating Country Boy Black beat the COVID, and it's 8 great artists performing August 14th at Maya's New York Bar and Grill Pizzeria. So we're gonna have a good time there. Castles is dropping. Let's talk for a minute about, because it sounds to me like we were talking about it like it was in the past, but it sounds to me like it's all relatively new. As far as you mingling with the hip-hop scene, with the hip-hop community, but I see you've got some features. Let's talk collaborations. Now, collaborations in general, just before we get into the individuals, what goes into you deciding who to feature on your projects?
Well, KINGZ actually originally was supposed to be called Bridges.
Okay.
Bridges was going to be Lead Bridge, and I was going to have a feature from Pontiac and a feature from Arizona on every song. And I was bridging the two.
Great concept. I hear that.
Yeah, and so once I started doing it, I kind of went away from it because I wanted, on some songs, I didn't want, like, it was hard to find Arizona features at the time. And so I only have 3 Arizona features on Black KINGZ. And I have maybe like 7 Pontiac features, you know what I mean? And so it was just too hard to try to find one person for each song, you know what I mean? Concept was great, but the acting that, like rolling that out is kind of difficult. You know what I mean? I'm not in both areas at the same time. And so I kind of went away from that. So that's when I had the idea with Fat KINGZ. I actually reached out to another fellow, a big guy, and we were gonna do an EP. I reached out to him with the idea of, you see Fat KINGZ album cover, how it's all the studio equipment in front of the king, eating all the beats and shit, and eating all the studio equipment and shit. Well, it was gonna be 2 Fat KINGZ, and we was gonna be snatching shit out of each other's mouth and doing all of that, and we were gonna do an EP. Well, it was just kind of silent about it, so I reached out to him and was like, I'm just gonna do it, name my mixtape Fat KINGZ. And just so it wasn't, because I did reach out to him first, so I wanted to clear that smoke first. And then that's when I dropped it. And so my features I really use, man, I will really go into it, bro, is I listen to your music first, and I go off of what the song is versus what type of music you make. And let's make a song. If I don't feel like the song is right for you, I'm not gonna reach out to you for it. You know what I mean? I maybe did that on one track. I'm not gonna go into it, but there's one track that actually the feedback I got on it from somebody that I actually kind of respect their opinion, and he was like, it just sounds like you kind of threw those 2 niggas on that song, like you wanted to do a song with them, so you just threw them on that song.
It happens.
Yeah,
it's hard for it, especially in that digital age. Sometimes it just doesn't come out sounding organic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a dope song, but it just wasn't. You can tell it was kind of forced. But I won't go into it because they ain't nothing to shine light on it for that reason.
Right.
And so, but I mean, it's a dope song to me still. But yeah, I just really just go off of the type of music you make. I feel like you're dope or not. And like I got a cipher that I did called 96 Draft. You know, that's the best drive ever, man. And so I reached out to everybody that I reached out to was all Pontiac people. Only people I seen moving. Whether you had a fan base or you didn't have a fan base, if you was positively moving in the direction like I was, then I want you on this track. You know what I'm saying? Whether I think you dope, whether I think you fire, whether I don't think you good at all, you moving, bro, and I respect the way you moving, so I'm gonna reach out to you and get you on this track. So it got 6 people. One of the guys actually, he moved out here. He from Pontiac, but he live out in Tucson. His name is Amazing.
Okay.
And so he's on there too on that draft song, and it's just on 96 Drive. But it's just the feel that I get, man. Outside of that cipher, just the feel that I get is what I ask on the song.
So I wanted to talk about, we're focusing on Castles. Castles is dropping August 14th.
Yes, sir.
It's your 3rd project, period, right? It's your 3rd project. So did you have trouble with your 2nd project at all? There used to be this thing, it was a big deal in hip hop, the sophomore jinx, the 2nd record. You know, because a lot of times we put our whole life into the 1st record, and then maybe the 2nd record suffers. But you're an independent artist, maybe it's different. Did you find any trouble with that with the 2nd record?
No.
You had such a solid concept, it sounds like to me. We were talking about collabs. So I'm just going to throw out the names of the collabs on Castles, and you give me the first word that comes to mind. Is that cool? That's a little game that I created on the mission to deal with collabs. Trendsetter Shady.
He's Shady is
It doesn't have to be one word. That's an exaggeration. Just give me your thoughts.
Okay, Shady is a live wire, bro. Shady is one of them type of niggas that's not gonna be scared to say nothing to nobody. He genuine as fuck, and he just real. We instantly connected. First time I met him from Philly.
Okay. Is he out here?
He's out here.
Okay.
He's had beef with Meek Mill.
Beef with Meek Mill.
ARM, interviews talking about him.
Okay. Okay.
Like niggas trying to like he authentic as fuck, man.
Okay.
That's a real ass nigga.
All right. Okay. RAN. I can't say all the words, but the acronym are. You could I think summing up what you said. Real ass is what would be the one word. If you would say that would be the one word that sum that up. Someone we all know, a name we all know if you follow hip hop, Michigan hip hop, battle rap. Even if you're an asshole who just likes Eminem, you probably have heard the name Marv One.
Genius, bro. That guy's a genius, man. Yeah.
Someone who has managed to live in and off hip hop. I would like to give him respect for this, and we all have known his name for a long time, and yet never really transcended, never really elevated or arrived somewhere where it seems like a ton of money is made, but he's lived off hip hop. We all know his name. Mm-hmm. We all respect his pen. Back from the MTV days, battle rapping on MTV. That's where most of us know Marv from, and of course, he, I'm sure, was incorporated with 8 Mile one way or the other. But get back to, I just want to show that love and respect. If you don't know, he is a prominent hip hop name, personality that we all know, but he never, there's no record you can point to. Other than being on MTV, he's had some great battles, don't get me wrong. Some of his best were in KOTD. But at the same time, battle rap is a niche issue. It's not really, speak to getting someone like Marv One on your project. And just, fuck what we were talking about earlier, just speak special for Marv.
Yeah, man. So, Marv always been dope. I always thought he was dope. When I was battle rapping, we was like the nemesis. Facebook, we was all in this Michigan battle rap Facebook group. And so we was always going back and forth. We're always going back and forth. To this day, his brother named Palabi. And I ate your fucking guts, Palabi. And so, but man, to this day, we just
there's the tagline on the show.
we always go back and forth. It's all love, man, 100%. But Marv, man, we was nemesis. At first, we was nemesis, and but Marv was one of those guys, bro, where I feel like his pen outside of battle rap is better than his pen in battle rap. I feel like he make better songs than he battle. If you go and listen to his recent albums, bro, Marv got a few classics that just dropped in the past 3 years. Maybe got 2 classic albums that just dropped, man, and you can tell, bro, that he was making music well before battle rapper. He makes music, more music than he does. I can tell that's his main focus over battle rap. Right. Although battle rap got him maybe got him more recognition because he battled on 8 Mile on the bloopers or the deleted scenes on 8 Mile, or because he's been on KOD over, he's international with it, and that's gonna give you a bigger name than Detroit rappers, you know what I mean? There's so many Detroit rappers that you kind of get blended in, and you kind of, it's hard to stand out once you get that label. And so I feel like his pen, man, is top notch, and that's why I reached out to him, because, like I said, I'm still learning this shit, bro. And if you don't test your pen against people's pen that you feel is great, then you doing yourself a disservice.
Is that and you don't have to answer, but I'm curious, is that a relationship call? Does that relationship call come with a price attached as well?
Yeah, it's a price attached. Man.
Sure, he's a name.
He got a manager, bro. He got a team. He got
people to feed. Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Even if he didn't, when I reached out to him, I said, how much? You know what I mean?
There's weight to his name that brings a price tag attached. I wouldn't have expected any different. I just wanted to clarify for the people out there. And because you spoke about a relationship that you did have. And even when you have a relationship, that doesn't mean that there's not a price tag attached. You know what I mean? I feel that. All right, so respect to that. What do we think about Rose Spit?
Pontiac Hole.
Okay. Whoa, that's big talk. Whoa.
He probably had the best pen in Michigan.
Okay.
Best pen in Michigan, man. He's a legend. He owns a shoe store, Burn Rubber in Detroit.
Right.
Him and Marv and Ron Dance actually got an album that just dropped called 101. They had an album that just dropped together, and it's fire, bro. I actually paid. I don't buy too many albums, bro, because of title. You know what I mean? I can just go and stream every.
Just go listen to it, right?
Yeah, but I actually bought that album on Bandcamp, man. So that's a classic album, man. And Spit is a legend, bro. He got one of the best verses on the album.
You work a lot with Chill's Beats. How did you have a relationship with Chill's Beats Productions?
So Chills is from New York.
Okay.
He lives on Vegas now.
Okay.
He produces for DDG, Pontiac DDG. He's a young artist right now. Internet, what do they call those? Like internet celebrity or internet
influencer.
And so he makes dope ass beats, bro. When I first, people make jokes about his beats because it's easy as fuck to make jokes about his beats.
Right.
I mean, because in Pontiac, and the people in Michigan, people I'm associated with, we joke. You know what I mean? We're comedian. And he is too. But he kind of started taking his music a little more serious, but that just made jokers joke more. You know what I mean? And so we would joke about his beats, man, and joke about his beats. But his beats never was bad. But then something, I don't know if the COVID made him focus more too, but during that COVID time, something switched with his beats too. And so,
well, if the beats weren't bad, give me an example. What was the joke?
It was, he has a big nose.
Okay.
And so when somebody is jonesing on you, or joking on you, you gotta think about what things can you joke about. And he was a Mexican guy. So then they say shit like you can hear a lawnmower in his beats. Like, you know what I mean? Just shit like, you know what I mean? And that's why, and it was just easy. It was an easy target because that's what he was known for.
I got you.
And so,
Understood.
yeah, it's just jokes, man.
Understood. Yeah, I love that. I spent many hours in the studio making the same kind of jokes. It's
all good. Fired though, man. But something switched, man, and we locked in. And so Benny the Butcher actually had a video, bro. He just made, it just came out. And he was talking about how you need to lock in with one producer to develop a style.
That's definitely what they did. Yes.
Yeah. Develop a style. Once you develop a style, then you got something to go off of. It's a basement. It's a foundation. And so we locked in. And so I've been doing stuff with him since Black KINGZ. Now on Castles, he's on maybe, out of the 17 tracks, he's on maybe, I want to say between like 10 and 13 tracks. You know what I'm saying? It's by him. And so we locked in, and once you got a style going, and I feel like we turning that shit into something. Like, we was chopping up the other day, and he was just saying how he appreciate the way that I got his beat sounding. You know what I mean? Professionalism, everything mixed, mastered, laid down, copywritten, BMI, got him listed.
Business, everything, right? Didn't shit on him, didn't steal it, you know. Yeah. I got you. Real business, real life. That's good. So do you I know you at the event I saw you had the boutique show set up and was selling things and selling some things I purchased from you before. So where do you think you got your did you have the business in you before the FUBU weekend, or did the FUBU weekend spur the business side of you? Because it seems like you have a very much, and you spoke to some of your Detroit or Michigan natives that also like open stores. You know, like it just seems like a very business-minded, professional drive. Did that come about with the FUBU thing? Was that something that was early on with you?
Yeah, I got a lyric, bro, that said the biggest, the best businessmen are always drug dealers. I feel like coming from that background, it helped with the business club. So this is the art. So when we first started the business, my wife didn't know what the fuck she was doing at first. I didn't either, you know, when I first started opening the business, just stopped working this focus on again. I knew, like, I didn't sold before, so I know that I didn't made a business transaction before and made money off of this before, and I didn't think that she was struggling at first. And I'm like, it can't be that hard. I'm like, but then I thought about it. I'm like, you ain't never sold nothing before. So this shit is brand.
Drugs sell themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that shit was brand fucking new. You know what I'm saying, to her. And that just moving something and bringing something back and bringing in money from that. That's new. That's that whole experience. And so I had to take that into consideration. But I think that played a major role in it. Is once it's a fast money type of thing. And you can work, you can go and work for somebody else own that business. So basically the way I look at it now, bro, is that we live in an ideal world. Everything that you can touch that's not from nature was somebody's idea, was in somebody's head first. So we go work for jobs for a motherfucker because we not smart enough to think of our own idea. So we go and piggyback off another motherfucker's idea. Now this motherfucker can be at the crib watching his kids grow up, there for every step, not missing nothing. When we come home, oh, you won't believe what your son did today. Oh, you won't believe he said his first word and you wasn't here because you was making money and you had to do.
The wild part is when he emulates the babysitter more than or not even more, but just at all. Sometimes when they emulate the kids' daycare or the daycare worker, you wonder, like, you know,
they there more.
Right. I want to be emulating me. You know?
Yeah. And that's how I win on you, bro. You know what I mean? And so you start thinking, and that's what the seminar got me thinking, bro, is that it's you going to work so this man could be at home watching his kids grow up. Time goes so fast, bro, that you're going to be still going to work every day, every year, where you might have made between $1 and $5 more in that 18 years. Let's say you stay at that job, you don't make, unless you get a promotion and you become president or something. You're in that same job for 18 years, which most people are, let's say plant workers. They missing all their kids growing up. And now their kids grown as hell, and you could possibly still be working that fucking job, bro. And your kids, what are you teaching your kids? To work and get a job. School already teaching them that they need to get a job. That's why school system structure is set up to...
It's training somebody, yes, you're speaking to somebody. It blew my mind the first time I considered that school isn't even necessarily about what they teach you. School is about showing up at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, going to lunch, taking a certain amount of time at the bathroom, tardies.
All your absences.
Yeah. And punishment if you don't do the right things. Yeah, so school is very much a training mechanism as much as it is an educational tool.
That's why they don't teach you about credit, because when you have to have credit, it's because most of the time you're trying to survive. And in the black community, all they teach you, all your parents don't teach you, because all their parents taught them, and all their parents taught them, and their parents were slaves, was to survive. And that's all we know how to do is just survive. We don't know how to fucking live. Right. And so we live in checking checks, scheming, scamming, selling drugs, because it's fast money. It's easy money. That's the only way we know to make money, because we don't know that other world, that legal world. We don't know that terminology that they use. We don't know that shit because it wasn't brought down, because nobody in our family knew it. Like my mom and I said, cut credit cards up. You know what I mean? But then I meet a millionaire, he got 15 credit cards. Like when mom wasn't a millionaire, she told me to get rid of my credit card. This millionaire son get as many credit cards as I possibly fucking can because that's spending somebody else's money. Who am I to fuck? Now you at a crossroad. And when motherfuckers come to that crossroad, they either cross over or they go back to where, or they never go in the street. You know what I mean? They stay on the side where they at. Listen to mama, always stay broke, just like mama was. Just like they talk about diabetes, bro. They say hot diabetes is hereditary. It's not. It's because the same type of butter your mom bought, guess who's buying that same type of butter now? Because that's what you grew up on. So now when you go to the store, you buying that same shit.
Yeah, Heinz ketchup, word life. Like I can't never enjoy another ketchup, but
that's what it's about, bro.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's our habits, and it's funny that you mentioned that because it's one of my theories that, eating habits are very much in the same as spending habits.
Mm-hmm.
And the controlling of either one is the same psychological place in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you can either go to war with it and deal with it, or you can either, my weight, I struggle. I'm trying to lose weight. At one time I was 235. Now I'm like 195, 196, 7, depending on what time of day or how many cupcakes I have. I still eat it. Right. I weigh before I eat in the morning. Like all people trying to lose weight, you get that good weight of the day, that wake up weight when you've been fasting all night. Hopefully, I used to get up in the middle of the night and eat cookies. I don't do that anymore. But so my weight and my financial spending is something I've always dealt with. And I have to blame society a bit because we're surrounded with wanting the next thing, the new thing, the extra thing, the donut you don't need, the extra piece of equipment or computer you don't need. We can do everything basically on our phones now, but of course we still have to have laptops and computers. And if you're a musical guy, if you're actually trying to be an artist now more than ever, there was a day where you could be a broke artist and be discovered, and someone would change your life, and they would at that point most likely own your life.
Yeah, and you didn't know.
And you didn't know, and you signed up, and now you're famous, and you got to deal with all that, and iron all that out, and move contracts around, move companies around. Nowadays, yeah, now or a VH1 after the music, Nowadays, it's completely different with the internet. Everyone can do the music. Everyone can, but what you don't understand, with freedom comes a cost, and I'm learning that all the time. But with freedom comes a price tag, and the artists today, I feel like a lot of people still are looking for that pie in the sky, that savior to come sign them or take them away to Hollywood or put them in the studio with someone. And in my experience, that day has passed. You got people like that. The people that are interested in me, Little Dicky is interested in me. Little Dicky basically crowd surfed his rap career. He got fans with funny videos. He got better at rap. As he got better at rap, he got more fans who go-funded some of his albums and his features. And, he's done songs with Snoop Dogg. And he, like Michael Jordan, got better at the game while playing. Didn't believe, and now he's flipped it to where he's doing a TV show about his real life. He's doing a TV show. He made up Little Dicky to become famous, and now he's using that fame from Little Dicky to tell the story of his real life, which I think is interesting. Yeah, and I think there's a million new ways to do it, but unfortunately, most of the time, you have to find the new way. The old ways don't work. I mean, 50 Cent, we spoke about him and Dipset. Dipset and Locks is tonight, I believe. We'll have to watch that after we get out of here. The replay is always there. But Dipset and 50 Cent came up on the mixtape era, but as we've mentioned, the mixtape era doesn't exist anymore. So that's just an example of you can't look back at the old way of making waves or getting on and try to use that now. You have to find consistently the new way to do it. Speaking of Locks and Dipset, we brought it up. Who is your the internet is always going to decide a winner, even though we say it's a celebration and whatever. People were looking for Jadakiss to be drunk. In Virginia, where I grew up, or where I was living at during the 2000s, the Dipset were huge. People loved the Dipset in Virginia, in Richmond. Yeah. We love the clips. We love grinding. We love the clips, no doubt. We love the clips, but unfortunately, probably people in the other state love the clips more than we love the clips. I mean, we love the clips. We support our own in Virginia, but it's just tough, man. It's just tough, man. A lot of times, it's harder, or it seems harder, to support the people where you come from than people out of state for whatever reason. It's a problem all people have.
The reason that is because we support people that we don't know, and
easier
more than we support people that we do know, because we don't want those people that we do know to be higher than us in life.
I agree. It's a human psychology, right?
We'd rather a stranger be higher than us in life than the person we know.
Yeah, but I don't want to get all the way out of this interview before we talk about one thing. We've spoken a lot about your wife's business. Could you give the name of it and where it can be reached if someone would like to check on her boutique?
Yeah, so it's 1021 by Miracle.
Okay.
And you can reach out to her on Facebook.
Okay.
Reach out to her on Facebook. She do shirts.
1021 by Miracle.
Do shirts, and she do all my shirts, all my designs.
Okay. A lot of great product you had at the show. I saw you. Y'all had a whole table set up, and it was nice.
Items. She make all my designs. She made my business card. She literally like my other half in this music shit right now.
Man, that's beautiful to have. Beautiful to have. It's very, it took me a while to settle down, but having a supportive wife has been the best decision I've ever made. She's beautiful to me. And also, I want to talk about, before we get out of here, mushrooms. Do you enjoy hallucinogenics? Sometimes.
Maybe like twice a year.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I had to pause. I took a big dose at night. I was hosting the show, and I had to take moments and kind of it was getting at me. But then I started microdosing because I decided that might be better. And to be honest, I'm gonna tell you, I microdosed one day, and I almost said, "Fuck all this shit." It's weird how you ever tripped on mushrooms, and one time I tripped on mushrooms after I broke up with a girlfriend. Girlfriend broke up with me, longtime girlfriend. One of the loves of my life, beautiful young lady, but we just knew we weren't meant to be. And I was real broke up about it, and I took some mushrooms alone and took a nap, which is not something I would advise anybody to try to do. It's not easy to do. Well, I don't really think I napped. I really think I just sat there with my eyes closed and tripped. But while I was having that experience, the mushroom gods, the sun, moon, and earth, the powers of blackness, the powers that be, whoever it was in mushroom land, sat me down and explained that I would be fine, and that there would be other women, and that actually I was in a prime opportunity at pretty much the prime of my life. And I woke up from that nap, and I was healed. I was better. And from that experience, I was really worried the other day when I microdosed, and they were kind of like, "What are you doing? Go do something else," which worried me because I like doing this, But when the mushroom guys start talking to me, I listen, I find that interesting. I can't do it as much as I used to because it hurts my joints the next day. I'm getting old anyway. So we only do hallucinogenics a lot. You seem to be a person who enjoys the marijuana, the cannabis. It's a different world out here in Arizona. All of my life, I was a felon for most of what I did revolving around marijuana. Just buying it, selling it, taking it, smoking it, driving from here to there, calling somebody on the phone to talk about it. All of those were individual charges. Yeah, and right now, they love me when I come show up at the dispensary. Do you Do you have a preference between dispensary and weed not bought in a dispensary?
I hate it.
You hate it. So you get all your weed from somewhere else. I'm not going to ask where.
No, I wouldn't even tell you.
Right, I'm sure you would.
But yeah, I get it from somewhere else, man. Dispensary weed, bro. Where I get my shit from, he actually sells to a few dispensaries too. And the dispensary.
So you're not doing anything magical. You're just kind of skipping back in the line to the source.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so they don't. The gentleman that I do business with tells me that the dispensaries won't pay to get the shit that I get from them. So the dispensaries will get the lower grade and they tax them.
Right.
So there's some poor weed going around right
Right.
now from like Copper Shade. That's it. It's a weed brand.
No doubt. Anybody knows they're like the on sale brand. They're the hey, I've got, you know. And, you know, I've learned, if one thing I've learned in the last 2 years since I had my card is I'm not on sale brand type of smoker.
Nah, man, because that's when motherfuckers will get some $40 ape shit and then go down with some $25 ape shit and then get mad. You know what I mean? Like, you going down. Like, you can't expect that shit the same type of
No, that's what I learned. You know, and I've kind of figured that out my whole life when people used to talk about going to Amsterdam all the time. You would have thought that Amsterdam was this glory place where there's a ton of weed. But what I learned then that it's still, like, it was still $20 a gram in Amsterdam. Like, good weed is a certain price pretty much everywhere if it's good weed, or unless you have the crazy connect or whatever. That being said, you know, bargain weed is just that. It's just bargain weed. Now, a lot of my life, I smoke Mexican brick weed, so it's all good compared to that. And I'm not a snob. I don't really turn it down. But I am somewhat similar to a mix of Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg in that I've smoked a lot of years, and you know, I like to still, and I even hit the concentrates, which really fucks with your tolerance, but I still like to get that, bam, I'm high every now and then, you know, like that. And for me, I have a child, so when I'm, you know, I can't necessarily get that. My brain, it's interesting, now that I'm a parent, it's probably not a popular thing to say, but I've smoked, you know, and taken care of my child before. But Wiz Khalifa got in big trouble for admitting that he liked to smoke and then play with his kids. That people actually came out against him for that, which to me is the most natural thing in the world, you know.
People find a reason, bro.
Right.
People find a reason to hate you for something, bro.
It's true.
If you popping and doing anything correctly and making the right moves in life, you can expect that. Prepare yourself for that. And as far as smoking and playing with your kids, bro, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like
if you're not smoking in their presence, if you're not driving the car, yeah, you know what I mean. I don't see what the issue is. But point being, you know, me personally, when I'm responsible for my child's welfare, even if I smoke, I don't get. It's something about my brain. I don't get as high as when everybody's at the house and I know I'm not responsible for anything. My wife got my son. I can just do whatever I want to do. I get higher when I'm relaxed in that way. I can't relax fully when I'm responsible for my son, I guess is what it is. So even weed that might put other people to sleep under the table, like I still hold a certain amount of like, right. Well, I gotta know what he's, you know, I'm still at the point where sometimes, like, even when we go out on a date night, I'll turn around and look in the back seat expecting my son to be there. And then I have to think, oh no, he's with his grandmother, it's cool, you know. So that's what, being an older father, that, you know, that's what it is. New father is what, that's what it is. So, I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that. Have you experienced any rap beef since you started rapping? You kind of new, so three projects in though. No rap beef. Most people I've talked to have not had rap beef. Do you feel the need to have a manager? There's been some, you know, is this person a real manager? Is that person a real manager? Do I need a manager? Do you feel the need at this point? Do you have management? Do you feel
the need? You bring that up, bro.
Yeah, okay.
This is something that definitely needs to be addressed.
Okay.
So, managers, it's two different type of managers that's going on right now. There's one type of manager that's going on right now, where you have to pay them to be a manager. So now it ain't no real. I don't look at those people as managers. I look at those people as snakes.
That's not the traditional artist management relationship. In fact, if you listen to any established artist through history, they have always said, if someone wants you to pay them money to manage you, walk away. This time. But in this era where we have so many artists striving to get their message heard, people are desperate and will resort to a lot of desperate measures. That's just one of them. But okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yeah, it's a snakish mentality, bro. It's like you don't even know what you can expect. You know what I'm saying? And then you still gonna have to foot the bill. These people might charge you a fee each month or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that's not a manager in my eyes.
No, me neither.
On the other side, there's the traditional legit manager that believe. Like, first and foremost, I don't feel like a manager can even be a manager if they don't believe in it. If they don't have an ounce of belief that you can make it, I don't feel like they can be a manager. Because a true manager creates opportunities for both of y'all to eat. They see that you good and they know the business side of this game. That's not for artists to know. I don't want to say it's not for them to know, but we have to focus on the creativity side. I got a mentor, man. His name is Oob. Oob is sometimes he gives me gems, man. And the whole when you was talking about the Fat Kings, the way that they rolled out. So that's one of the things marketing schemes that I actually got from him. And so he genius, man. He actually just I think he just got hired to write for Detroit Hip Hop Weekly or something like that. And so basically
I could have told you till you asked me. But we were talking about your marketing. We were talking about let's trace back. We were talking about your marketing, the fact that you know. Okay.
So traditional. So he was giving me game.
Traditional manager.
Yeah, traditional manager. He was giving me game on basically this. The manager asking me for money, any type of upfront money at all. Whether it's a fee each month, whether it's pay me a certain amount up front, it's a snake mentality. So a traditional manager, they're gonna create opportunities for both of y'all to eat. Whether they get a percentage off or whatever y'all arrange or whatever y'all agree to. Now, what people get confused out here is some people think that they're bigger than they are. And it's not a knock to those people you're supposed to, but you have to still be realistic about what you're saying and what you're doing. And so, like, I don't have a manager, but the person that I do have working with me, that I just brought on, we just developed this relationship where we came to an agreement of what it was. And I've heard that she's had this agreement with other artists. But other artists sometimes think that they're bigger than they are. And they kind of throws salt in it. You know what I mean?
We don't need to bring up any names, but it sounds like you're dead in the middle of a current AZ situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a little bit.
What's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm blocked on Facebook, so
Sure.
I'm in jail, so I don't know what's going on. But,
Sure.
But this person gets a lot of backlash, and I'm working with her. You know what I mean? And so certain backlash on her. If I'm working with this person, and now she's losing opportunities that could also happen to fall back on me.
Sure.
And so,
I think the bikers call that blowback.
Yes.
It's blowing, her thing is blowing back.
And so, but I don't feel like, and so most artists would say, oh, I ain't fucking with her then, because I ain't got all of this shit going back on me. You know what I mean? But I'm not like that at all. I don't feel like this person has done anything wrong.
Right.
But I feel like that this person gets, and a lot of people try to bully her.
Okay.
And I don't like bullies at all.
Why do you think it's hard for artists to? I've been an artist. I can be an asshole. I can be sensitive. I can be both sides. Mm-hmm. So I know as artists, we all can be that. Why do you think artists sometimes, a lot of times, have incorrect self-view or not unrealistic assessment of where they're at in their career?
It's battery. Sometimes they can have a certain person putting the battery in their back. Some people don't even act the same when they're by themselves versus when they're with a certain group of people. And so it's the same with their music career, bro. If this person was by themselves and wasn't surrounded by the people that they're surrounded by, let's say a pigeon is surrounded by eagles. That pigeon gonna start thinking that they're eagle until an eagle tell their ass, "Hey,
you're a guest in this house." That's what.
Pigeon.
Yeah, you're a pigeon.
And so if it's a thing, man.
Yeah.
If you're an artist and you cool with this artist and you cool with this artist and you cool with this artist, these artists just got blessed deals or got paid for a show or, you know what I'm saying, just some type of success, monetary success. You're going to automatically start asking them how they got that success. Well, this person, and this person all had different journeys and different paths to their success that you had nothing to do with, or you can't even relate to. Well, now you're gonna try to mimic. That's the next thing is once they give you the story and you know that story doesn't match your story. Okay, so now I gotta act like that, like that's my story, or act like this person, or act like how they're acting, maybe that's how they got it. Because they're acting like they get paid for features. So I'm gonna act like I get paid for features too. This is my price. Yeah. Even though I never got this price, somebody put a battery in my back and said, unless you ask for it, you ain't gonna get it. And it's all about, and now we lose our self-perception of who we really are. And this happens even in real life, bro. Not even music shit, bro. Just being around certain groups of people.
Sure.
We be around niggas that like to fight, and you not a fighter. You don't realize that you can't fight until you win in that goddamn fight. And you like, shit, what I done got myself into. Trying to be like these motherfuckers, I done got myself into some shit. And so it's times where this artist that maybe asking for a certain number, he may be losing out on hella opportunities because you being an asshole asking for these niggas' price when you know you're not either lyrically there, you don't got the songs that these niggas got.
Or the following with it, or just people that, it's pay to play or shows are a big hot button topic out here. But if to me, you have to bring some to get some, like the cookout, like what people used to say. But if you can bring consistently 25, 50 people to a party you're going to perform at, then you deserve to get paid. And if people aren't willing to pay you, you can too easily do your own thing.
That's where I'm at right now, bro.
And these people, there are situations where people will pay $400 or $500, even more, for maybe a 20-minute skit or something, or maybe to see, let's say, 50 people to watch them perform, right? You pay $400 for 50 people to watch you perform. That's $8 a head. You might as well pay the people you love and your friend, your actual people that know you. You might as well pay them to come watch you, $8 a head. Then pay. You understand what I'm saying? Like, or either run your own promotion. That's what I would tell artists. Don't get mad, don't pay if you don't want to pay. But there's plenty of bars and venues that you just have to be able to talk to people and say, hey, I want to do.
We lack communication, bro. It's crazy, man. in this day and age, you would think that we would be superior. We would have superior communication now with all the ways to communicate.
Right.
And the more ways they get to communicate.
Well, who can communicate better than who communicates in more advanced ways than rappers? But you know, you can't go to a club owner and start rapping at him. It's a different communication, you know, and it's a, you know, it's a different thing. And maybe that's why some of us do need managers. And I was gonna say earlier, a wise manager, a good manager, and you have to have the proper relationship with an artist that's very trustworthy to have this conversation. But you know, a wise manager might temper an artist's ego, might humble him a little bit and say, "Look, we're only doing this and this and this. This is where you're at right now," and try to bring them back to earth and not let them keep floating up to these unrealistic expectations.
Somebody got it in their mind, bro, that they at a certain level.
Yeah.
Even though they don't got the accolades.
And I agree with you. There's a lot of fake it till you make it going on. There's a lot of they do this, I do that. You know.
And then what I hate about that, bro, is that some people that just don't know. Some artists maybe don't know. They're gonna try to mimic that shit, bro. And then now you leave everybody down the wrong road. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, we all just can't put diamonds in their forehead. You know, we all can't. We all can't eat, drink. You know, we all can't dress designer every day and eat, you know, 5-star meals every meal. That's not for everybody. You know. Yeah, I respect that. So Castles is dropping August 14th. We got the release party to celebrate it. You've got some incredible features. This is your third project. How do you think you've evolved since beginning this whole scenario? This is your third project. How do you think you've evolved as an artist to where you started to now?
I'm rapping at it, bro. I'm actually talking that shit. You know what I'm saying? When I first started rapping again on Black KINGZ, if you listen to that album, you don't hear nearly as many bars. Like, I was in the middle of when maybe like 2 songs into Fat Kings is when I got my bars back. Like I could feel the switch in what I was saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm thinking of more attention getters now. And so that's what I feel like. I feel like I was getting back into the groove of things. My content was always there. But on Castles, I'm actually getting into personal life.
Okay.
Things was more of what was going on around me.
Okay.
And now I'm getting personal as to
looking inside instead of exterior.
How I basically from Pontiac, from my crib, 81 Lake Street, 40 South Shirley Street, to where I'm at right now, in my own crib.
Right. Castle. It's a celebration.
The whole journey, bro. And the way the album is set up, you can actually vibe to it. You can see the first half is treacherous shit. Born in the Dirt, Life's a Bitch, Toast for Shaq, Sam Cooking, I Don't Want to Go Back, Trying to Make It Back Home. That's all first half type shit, you know what I'm saying? To second half is Everything Good, Follow the Drip, Welcome to AZ, Bitch I'm On, like Money Don't Make Me. Like you can tell, you know what I'm saying? You can see just the growth in the album by itself. From me young, watching my mom's on drugs, to selling drugs myself, trying to keep the lights on, to losing my motherfucking cousin, to him talking about things that he showed me in the song, to Everything Good, me talking about how my credit good now, everything good shit, I'm about to buy a crib now, to I'm in a crib now, to ooh wee, like song about with a woman, you know what I'm saying? Welcome to AZ, this is where I'm at now, that's not an album yet. And so it literally is a journey, bro. And if anybody want to know what my journey is, and because as a rapper, one of my homies always said, man, that you only as real as what you've been through as a rapper. if you ain't never been through shit, you're not really gonna have nothing to rap about, or you're gonna be lying. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with rapping about what you see, but if you wasn't at least in the middle of it, like a reporter can report, but
nobody respects him unless he's at the war zone. Right. True indeed.
They're not shooting the guns, but they can talk about it because the bullets is flying by the head.
Right. Is that why they still put the guys out in the snow? Is that why? Or do we believe them more if they're actually in the rain? You know, they be putting the cats out in the snow in the rain.
I don't know if you watched Key and Peele. They actually got a skill about that, man.
I have.
They were like, why we sending the black man out in the blizzard, and they had the other black man playing the weatherman. And so they were just going there talking about how the race is white snow and the black ice.
Yeah, because the black ice causes the accidents. You know, everybody plays in the snow. Nobody hates on the snow. Key and Peele, funny guys, no doubt. I love comedy, man. Chappelle, and you know, I love a good joke. And the nature of a good joke is that the best jokes, everybody is not going to get all the time. And and the best jokes have a little truth in it, and they are a bit hurtful to some people. These are the things I've learned as I try to be funny in life, you know. But we don't need to, especially this week, we don't need to discuss my attempts at being funny. Castles to me is a great project. You've put together an accumulation of your experience as of to now. 17 songs, which might be considered heavy for this era, and a concept. You know, salute to Kendrick, Cole, certain artists that do concept-driven albums. You know, a lot of hip hop or a lot of our entertainment is single-driven. So what drove you over to that side of like a concept, an album, a walk through your life, as it were, as opposed to these 17 songs, you could have put them out one song every 2 weeks over the next 3 or 4 months or something and gone single style. What influenced you to make an album?
So I'm from the old school, bro. I ain't gonna say old school as in the Run DMC type shit, bro.
Right now.
DMX, Locks, Jay-Z, just to name a few. Even Ja or 50. Like those niggas made albums. You know what I'm saying? And they actually had something to talk about. Singles is cool, and I understand that's where the world's going, and that's the direction everything's going in. I still do drop singles, but I got a lot of fucking songs, bro. Like before I dropped Fat King, I had 55 songs. And I was recorded, mixed, and mastered.
Wow.
And so I had this material. I was thinking about going the EP route, where I was going to do maybe 4 or 5 tracks on different ones. But the plan that I had drawn out wasn't for that. That's why I was able to drop Fat King, which was 16 tracks, in May, and come right back in August with 17 tracks. And I was going to come right back in November with 12 more tracks. But I said I'm going to chill and I'm going to wait until New Year's. I'm going to let Castles rock out because it's so deep, man, and nobody going to be able to take everything in, and
absorb
I'm not going to be able to push it like I need to in those 3 months.
Right.
So I'm going to just let it rock out, and then I'm going to come back with Fat Kings too. And right now, what I'm working on right now is Black Words, which is coming Mother's Day 2022. I figured that I have to get that done because I need to be able to promote that. I ain't got time to be running to the studio or trying to find beats or trying to find a feature when I need to be promoting. You know what I'm saying? It's just when you're doing everything by yourself, you have to find shortcuts and ways to work around that work best for you.
Yeah, true. I dipped into it earlier, but then we swerved back out of it. Dipset versus Locks. Who is your personal choice?
Locks.
Locks, without a doubt. Favorite group ever. I was a big Locks fan when they got emancipated from. they didn't get their publishing back till much later, but they did get emancipated around 99, 2000, 98. And I really enjoyed and played a lot of it when I happened to be DJing in the club at the time, and really enjoyed that record in particular. Didn't necessarily keep up 100% when they advanced out with the D-Block, that whole episode. As a Lox fan, will you be honest and say that we could do without Sheik? I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Some people give him a hard time.
I actually got an argument.
Some people give him a hard time. He actually did a whole project with Ghostface. Were you up on those?
A lot of people don't know that Sheik been getting money. He been touring with Ghostface. He been touring like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they still doing it.
A lot of European money, and hey, I don't have, I don't have any problem with him. I think I think Jadakiss was always the standout, but then as Ghost, as Styles kind of did his independent raucous run, I think, and in his weed and juice and shit, I think he really gained a lot of fans.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it seemed to look like Sheik wasn't as important. Right.
So this is good. So Sheik, as a solo artist, he didn't pop as much because Sheik's style is more of a mixtape style. And so he's not gonna have the same, he don't drop the same gems as Kiss or Styles drop. Those niggas drop gems, man, every fucking verse. So that's gonna translate to albums.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they actually got content actually talking about something. Sheik, he more of a, I'm gonna get you, if I get on a track with you, I'm gonna have the best verse on this track. You know what I'm saying? Like, he verse for verse, it's a lot of niggas that can't fuck with Sheik. But song for song, they'll fuck over Sheik.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's the same thing as Pac and Jay-Z to me.
Okay.
Verse for verse, Jay-Z the best rapper ever. But song for song, nobody make better songs than that.
Right.
So,
I get that. Like I said earlier, Dipset was real big, and I'm sure the Lox, it's an ongoing. When I went back to RVA a couple weeks ago, and the battle rap event I went to, it was an active, ongoing feud.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides, big fans, both sides. What will they play to combat Ballin' by Jim Jones? Why? Okay. I would say the Benjamins. They were on the Benjamins. They could play the Benjamins.
So I didn't even think that they were able to play Ballin', because if it's Lox versus Dipset, those are two groups. And so if they only playing their group shit.
See, that's a fuzzy area, because usually in verses, any song you had a part of, wrote it, featured, remixed. For the solo artist, any song you had a part of, you're allowed to play.
Right, but what about the group?
Well, Keith Sweat versus Keith Sweat, and this is R&B, but Keith Sweat tried to say that Bobby cheated by playing New Edition records. But then he ended up playing LSG records, which was his group later with, So I don't know. Are there official rules? Is the street just judging? And do we care in this battle with so much love on both sides? Do we really care about a quote unquote winner? Really? Because a lot of times we say we don't, but we still, people still say Keith Sweat got Bobby. Most people.
The reason why they don't announce the winner is because it creates dialogue. It's the same.
Right, they want people to discuss it. Like battle rap, they don't announce the winner because they want the internet to decide, quote unquote, right?
It creates dialogue. And basically, you need somebody to say that the other person won. You can't have a judge say that, because that eliminates the dialogue, the back and forth.
Right.
Sometimes that's why you need haters, because you put a song on a post, and the most that somebody that like it, the most dialogue is going to say that song's fire. What can you say back? Thanks, or good looking.
Right.
It's not. Somebody say they don't like the song. Well, now it creates.
So hate actually fuels the promotion more, because if we agree it's great, then we're just gonna put it on a shelf and forget about it. But if we argue over whether it's great or not, that argument can keep it off the shelf and keep it lively for a long period of time. Wow, that's rough to know, but I appreciate it, and it sounds logical. I believe what you're saying. These days, the hate can be very real. Even amongst the AZ, just the AZ hip hop community. Some of us have felt the heat of the community for a day or two, and most people that I've talked to that have felt that heat don't enjoy it. Buford might enjoy it. I don't know if he really does or not. He seems to enjoy it. I don't know if he really enjoys it. That's for another conversation another day. Now, I want to ask you, one of the things I want to ask you, in this world of artists and these creative people, and there's a lot of us, and I appreciate each and every one that's creative. What is going to make K.BROCK different amongst all the rest that people will or should pay attention to you? What makes K.BROCK different?
It's not a real life story, man. Like, I've been through some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I've only grazed the surface of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, you know how when you first try to scoop that ice cream out, it's kind of hard. You know what I'm saying? And hard to get through. I mean, once it melts down a little bit, once it gets comfortable to the room, then it starts allowing you to get further into it. And so that's all I'm doing right now, man, is that I only spit real rap. Everything I'm spitting is 100% real. I either been through it or am currently going through it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's so much that I've been through, bro, that I've been through shit before I even came to this world. I've been through shit. My mom's, she had an abortion, bro, and didn't know she was having twins. And so my twin got sucked out.
Get the fuck out of here. That's 100%. Crazy. I'm glad we got to this. Now, yeah. I've never heard of something like this happen. I don't imagine I knew this could happen, but I think what you're telling us is that your mom, not knowing she had twins, had an abortion, and luckily, when they went to abort the baby, they only aborted one baby. And I'm just guessing, but I'm thinking the next thing you're going to tell me is that you were the other baby. Man, you know, and this is one time I interviewed somebody and we didn't get to an incredible point of their life, and I was really sad, mad at myself for not getting to it. And I'm glad we got to this, because this is an incredible piece of information. You know, so many kids in this world are unexpected and at times unwanted, and sometimes things happen, and you know, people have kids young and they're not ready for them. You know, at what age did your mom share this story with you?
So she didn't want to share it. She never wanted to at all.
Okay.
So my sister, I had an older sister.
Okay.
So my sister, she was an asshole sometimes. So
of course, as older sisters, shout out to my sister Debbie, as older sisters can be. Go ahead.
So sometimes that she would say, "Ooh, we can't make it sick." That's why I wish you, or she'd say you was an accident. And
she would give hints to.
Yeah. And I'm a kid, bro. I never thought about that shit at all. Well,
certainly you didn't know the details.
No. And there's one time, so she went through some traumatic shit. And I definitely shouldn't have been joking about it. I was too old, and I should have known. I was in maybe the 7th grade. And I should have definitely known that not to joke about whatever she was going through at the time. And so I was, because I was an asshole.
Because that's not that old, just to be honest. 7th grade is not that old, but go ahead.
But, and so she said it all the way out. And then I heard my mom, like, come out of the other room, like, yell her name. And then I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
I'm still naive, and I've been joking on her, and so I'm still kind of laughing a little bit, and then that's when the whole story came out. And so she literally just didn't want no more kids. They had a business going, barbecue business, had arcade games in the crib type shit, and didn't want no more kids, and so she had an abortion. And I don't even know what year abortion. This is '84. I imagine abortions probably happened probably a couple years before that. And so I don't think that they had all the equipment and shit that they got now, where they would have been able to tell that she was having twins at that time. You know?
Right.
And so they just seen the baby. I would imagine they just seen the baby get sucked out and assumed that it was good. But a couple months later, she started kicking and went back to the doctor, and I was too big to abort at that time. And so she just decided to keep it. But I can tell by the life I lived that it was that type of situation, because when I came out, it was a completely different story from when my sister was here. My sister got to live the life of the business owner parents, the arcade games in the crib, now here come this dude, and now everything has switched. As soon as he came, Pops drugged out, got my mom strung out, he left, now it's just us, and we all strung out. And now if you look at her, we only 6 years apart. If she's 6, 7 years old, and she see her life change now.
Your sister must have really been pissed.
Yeah.
No wonder she was mad at you. Did she blame you for like the change of life? Even though it probably wasn't your fault. But I mean, I don't say it like that. I know it wasn't your fault, but sometimes kids can get shit misconstrued.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And just thinking about that as an adult, I can understand how she would have thought that. And we don't got the best relationship at all. You know what I mean? And I want to attribute it to that, but I feel like our childhood could have been stronger if it wasn't that type of situation. You know what I'm saying?
You know, we talked to Bobby Baymar. He was born in Haiti, Port-au-Prince, and he was adopted. And luckily, a lovely white couple from a small town adopted him, and he had a decent life. But being black in America is hard, right? I'm not, but from what I hear, people I talk to, being black in America is hard.
You ain't got no black in you?
I never did a DNA test. If I would believe that, I would love to believe that. There's people that say I would want to believe that maybe a little too much. I've never done the DNA test. If you saw my parents, you would say those are two white folks. You wouldn't think that, you know. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't need to know. I'm the same either way. And unfortunately, certain times I get myself in trouble because, put it this way, if you were to write my thoughts and feelings on a piece of paper and not look at me, some people would probably think the guy that wrote that is a black guy, because I do tend to think in black ways. Sometimes I say I have more of a black consciousness, because of the things I believe or the things I think about the country or white people in general, whatever. But what I've learned is that, as much as some people may think I'm mixed or whatever, I'm not. And that's proven by when I make jokes in a certain form or fashion. You haven't been on Facebook, so maybe that's one of the reasons you agreed to do the interview. I got in a bit of trouble this week on Facebook, but it was all jokes, you know. But some people don't take jokes appropriately, and some people certainly don't think I am a position to make jokes. But what we were talking about is I've got off on a rant. I don't even know. I missed my step.
I actually want to touch on that, man, because people are sensitive for no reason, bro. And this is why I said I'm a comedian too, man, because I understand jokes, bro. I understand the deepest and the darkest jokes.
The attempt of a joke.
I don't get offended for a joke trying to be made.
Right.
Because that's not coming from a harsh place.
Have you ever heard Patrice O'Neal? That's a comedian. That's a guy.
I literally, if you would ask me my favorite comedians, it would have been a different list of the top 3.
Gotcha.
Because Patrice O'Neal, he's the elephant in the room, probably the funniest stand-up that I've ever watched in my life, bro.
He's definitely more than just my favorite comedian. Him and Chappelle, yeah, he's great too.
They
If you ever took the time to listen to Patrice O'Neal on the Opie and Anthony show, he goes much deeper into his thoughts about a lot of things, you know. And you know, I guess, you know, I just try to make jokes. And Patrice O'Neal, the reason I brought him up is because his quote is that, you know, people that are trying to be funny, good jokes and bad jokes come from the same place, just someone trying to be funny. And if someone is legitimately, if you know they're just trying to be funny, then you have to judge it as such and not, you know. And I thought it was a pretty clever joke just because it spells out "gnaw" and like we're gonna have an organization about white rappers, and it literally says "gnaw." Like, no, we're not. Like, you know, so, but you know, things are very sensitive these days. I had to have a call with the Farrakhan of the Phoenix, Arizona scene, Mr. Network. If you don't know, if you have any racial issues, white folks, that you need to work out with the black community of Arizona, don't waste your time calling a bunch of people. Call one person, Tommy, Mr. Network, White, Mr. Network, Tommy White, Mr. Network, LMG. He, to me, is, you know, because when I made the post, apparently people started calling him to talk to him about it. And some people that know me, that didn't call me to talk about it, which was funny. But, you know, I understand good jokes everybody's not going to get. And I understand that some people just don't have a sense of humor. Some people just don't have the ability to recognize a joke. And I will say salute to some people that did recognize that it was a joke. It made me feel like, you know, the world's not coming to an end. I was never that upset about it. I don't, you know, because at the end of the day, I didn't disparage anyone. I don't see how you can say I hurt anyone. You know, people that want to be mad about things, I understand they're just going to be mad about it. You still have promoters that haven't paid people money that they owe them. You still have, you know, a lot of issues that are really more racial than my joke. But, you know, I'm glad to talk about it. I'm glad you're at ease with it. I don't want to put anybody at disease, and that's disease if you didn't know. And to everybody involved, you know, I'm not sorry. I made a joke. I'm not going to apologize for it. If you didn't get it, then, you know, if you don't apply, let it fly, or whatever the people say. I'm glad you brought up your beginnings, though, man. I'm sorry we got off into that shit, because I wanted to highlight, like, the things we get into when we do these interviews. And I don't want to dwell on it too long, but that beginning story is incredible. I mean, it's tough, man. I've known, you know, I may have been an accident. I was a third child, like 13 years. My brother's 13 years older than me, so I may have been an accident. But I know in my heart, my parents loved me and wanted me once they had me. And all kids are loved and wanted for the most part once they arrive on Earth. But it must have been tough learning that, figuring that out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad I figured it out at an age where it kind of bounced off my shoulder, rolled off my shoulder. Because I didn't really, I mean, I thought about it and I was like, damn, that's fucked up. But the next day I didn't even think about it.
Right. Well, good for you. I mean, aside from it being hurtful, that's one side of it. Aside from thinking that I wasn't wanted or that, you know, but there's also this, you know, extreme survivor. Like, I'm here for a reason. If I survive that, I'm going to do what I came here to do, because that's, I mean, I would have to talk to a doctor to even understand how that could happen, how you came out so undamaged while the person right next to you
I was not undamaged, man. I was in the incubator.
Okay. Yeah, the incubator.
2 weeks before I became the crib.
Did you come out early?
Oh,
okay.
And so, no, I ain't come out early though. That it was just an incubator and my oxygen was super duper low.
Okay. You almost got choked out, unfortunately.
Yeah,
man,
that was really it, man. It
And I know you were raised up and like you don't know that, and like you found it out at a certain point, which some people might say was a little early to be finding it out, but maybe not being old enough to understand the details was a good thing. Maybe not being old enough to psychologically wonder if your mother, the things you might wonder about your parents if you know that was the situation going in.
Because you could look at that as the glass half empty or the glass half full.
True.
So you could look at it like they didn't love me or they didn't want me or their life was set before me. Or you can look at it like I'm a blessing, I'm a miracle.
Yes.
Like I wasn't supposed to be here, but I'm here. So now I'm basically living a free man. Shit, this is a free life for me. Shit, so whatever happens, happens. And that's kind of the way I live right now. Whatever happens, happens. Right? If something don't happen and it don't work for you, it's not meant to be.
I'm afraid that if I had known that at your age, I would have inappropriately used that against my mother.
The reason why I couldn't use that against her, man, because she was constructed so bad, bro.
Understood.
I was
understood.
Like,
well, my mother tried to tell me who to date or my mother tried to be very controlling with me. So I think knowing that, in my dumbass mind, I might have, like, when she tried to control me, I might have struck, like, you didn't want me anyway. I might have gotten into some crazy shit. Is that what it is? That Eminem? We went this whole interview and didn't even mention Marshall Mathers. Is Marshall Mathers important to you as a Michigan native?
Let me tell you why I hate Marshall Mathers. This is actually a good reason I hate him.
Okay.
Because he's so fucking good, bro. That when I listen to him, I don't want to rap.
I think that's why people hate him in general. A lot of it is the fact that he's just technically good, no matter what, He's technically good, man. No matter what you want to take away the content, how he talks about his mother or whatever. And to be honest, I think the industry combined with him and propped him up as the new, ton of white kids were doing crazy shit with drugs in the Midwest. We learned now that Marshall wasn't even doing that extreme amount of drugs till later in his career. And so I really believe Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre found their new version of NWA in a white guy that was representing a lot of white America at a time when they needed leadership. And not needed leadership, but they found a leader in him. They needed a spokesperson. And that person and those people had problems, with their parents. And it's just different how Eminem changed. He did change hip hop. I don't think anybody cried and screamed on records the way he did until he did it. And that's some emotional white boy shit too. The white boys from the Midwest atmosphere and some of the other, they get emotional, they get deep on records, and I think that's their contribution. I think that's a part of their contribution. Jay-Z made the song cry because he was too cool to cry, but he made the song cry after.
It's crazy how long after that song was made that he planted that seed. Then it didn't come to life until he cheated on Beyonce.
Right.
And it was almost like a response to Lemonade.
Right.
If you listen to whatever Beyonce was saying, when you go back and listen to that track.
Well, they say Jay-Z's a time traveler. Jay-Z is a time. Right.
Literally, like, he's saying everything. Like, how was I supposed to know this supposed to make you sick? You ain't never tell me that you was hurt until now. Like, and so it's Hov is special, man, and I'm glad that I was able to experience Hov, bro. It's special.
No doubt. I appreciate everything we've learned about you tonight. I think I've got a huge understanding of you and how new you are to everything, but yet so established. And Going Dummy is on Castles. Or no?
Going Dummy is on Fat Kings.
It's on Fat Kings, okay.
Yeah,
so I don't have any. I need to get some records from Castles. Hopefully I'll get some records from Castles. Going Dummy I didn't bring up, but Going Dummy has been one of my favorite records the last few months. It's a great record, and to me it's you. It doesn't sound like anybody. So I appreciate that one greatly. Man, the story about the beginning of your life is incredible, and what you're going through with the management issues and people having problems and working through all that is incredible. I just want to make sure, is there anything that would make you different or special? Is there anything that I should have touched on that you don't think we didn't touch on tonight?
No, we did a good job covering the bases of what we need to cover right now.
And we always got to have room for the comeback. You know, I'd love to have you come back. You know, maybe before we drop the next one after Castles is kind of settled in.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to get Smokey ass to finish his album so we can finish this. We got maybe 2 tracks recorded right now. He's on Fat Kings too, but we got 2 tracks recorded right now for Cheyenne King. We're doing a collab with EP called Cheyenne King, Chicago, Pontiac. Got the artwork for it made already, and I'm just waiting on him to finish his album. So
that sounds incredible. I'm looking forward to it. I love Smokey's records. I like your records, man. So y'all together is going to be a good thing. That's a good announcement to look forward to the near future. Smokey Dollar and K.BROCK. Right now, the focus is August 14th, the birthday celebration, Castle's release party, K.BROCK. We're going to do it up big August 14th. We got tickets available.
Tickets available, too. If you need a ticket, man, holla at me, man.
I got them in the car. Let me get you your tickets.
I got special gifts, man. If you come and get a ticket from me, man,
yeah.
If I ain't got a ticket, I'll write your name down, bro, get you in the door. You still with a special gift.
That's right. Special gift for the first people that buy their ticket from K.BROCK. He's mentioned that, so if you know, you know. It's definitely worth. If you want to come to the show, it's definitely worth getting a special gift. We will have 25 special gifts at the door for the first 25 people that come in and come in at the door. We've got VIP tables that come with bottles. Black is Home, Country Boys are performing, Choices, Willie Valentine, Concrete Records, very own Platinum, my man K.BROCK, Big Doobie, the real Big Doobie, fresh off his battle diss track that he has come at High Class. There's certain people in the city that have a problem with High Class, and what you alluded to and what I've learned is that it's hard to do much at all in this city without a certain amount of people having a problem with it.
Yeah, and I noticed that it's 3 to 4 people, bro, behind all the bullshit.
Oh, 3 to 4, is that all?
3 to 4 people, main people, bro. Any bullshit that happens,
oh god,
these 3 to 4 people are always gonna be very close to the situation.
Yeah,
and so that's why I'm glad that I was able to be on the outside looking in first, so I can know who to separate myself, because I ain't about negativity, man. I'm all about positive shit.
You seem like that. You seem to be incredibly mellow. With the ups and downs that certainly life has thrown at us all, they've been thrown at you, and you have an incredibly great outlook on the things you've been through and life in general, and I'm going to walk away from this taking some of that. I hope you understand that and appreciate that. Mm-hmm. As I'm trying to find peace, part of it is my personality, part of it is my privilege that I can fly off the handle for small things in life. But, you know, it's not the big things. I've been through some big things, and it's in general, it's the small things that irritate me. So I'm working on it. You know, meditation, medication, and masturbation is my general. It's my general plan, you know. But salute to everybody in Pontiac, salute to everybody in East Lansing, and salute to everybody in Arizona. And I appreciate everything you've said tonight. A really big show, a great start to our second season. I hope you've been comfortable and relaxed here in the Mission headquarters where we did the show tonight. It's been nice for me. After some of the studios I've been in, it's been just as nice to sit here and enjoy a nice drink and talk to you. I look forward to having you on the show again. I look forward to the show where I'll be DJing and you'll be performing at for the Castles release August 14th. Will this on August 14th, when we want to get this project, is it streaming? Will you have any copy? Do people still make CDs? What's going on with it?
So with Black Kings, my first project, I got a company, bro, where I can drop ship. So I set it up through another company, Big Cartel. I don't know if you've heard of that. But you order the album, and then I was drop shipping it. And I was doing 15 because it cost $3 for the album, $2 to ship. So I was really making $10 off the album, but I was charging $15 for it. And so if anybody looking at want albums, records, like actual albums, they do all of that, and you can drop ship. Order. I'm gonna have actually for the August 14th. I'm gonna have some hard copies of the album. I'm gonna have a bonus track on the hard copy. I'm actually doing in the middle of writing it right now. I do a freestyle before every album. For Black Kings, it was on the Get Away My Beat. Black Kings freestyle, the Fat Kings freestyle was on the Lemon Pepper Drake freestyle beat, and this one is gonna be on the Pooh Shiesty Back in Blood beat. And so I'm gonna have that recorded and dropped probably in the next week. I got a single coming out on Friday called Money Don't Make Me featuring Rose Fit, what we was talking about earlier.
Okay, no doubt.
On the 13th, the day before the album drop, I got another single dropping called Bitch and Moan.
I must say, for someone who doesn't have a manager, and you mentioned the gentleman's name who may be giving you some advice, from your press release email to the way you're rolling out everything, it seems like, a very experienced, planned event.
Research already. Like this is why I had to do 3 albums ahead of myself. It's because I know I needed to learn this shit. Because this is and the manager that we have a partner, we be partners in that matter, we just have a partnership. She was explaining that I don't need no manager because everywhere I'm at right now is where people use a manager to get. And I'm just there doing this shit a year ago, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
For me to be where I'm at right now, I feel like it's a blessing. But it also is from research. Like my first performance, I brought my mic, and somebody was like, it's not something that somebody do when they first start performing. It's because I researched for 2 months before I dove back in it. Like, what really am I gonna have to do to get back in this game for real and and be taken seriously? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be taken for perfect. I can't. Like, I'm spending too much money in this shit, too much time. Like, I can't be looked at as a joke in this shit or nothing like that. That's why I don't want to be involved in no disses and nothing like that or be looked at as a battle rapper because then that's all that you look at. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to break away from that view once somebody gets a perception of you in their head. It's so hard to break that perception, bro. No matter what that perception is, like if a woman look at you as a cheater, bro, you're never gonna. No matter what you do, no matter how many times you treat her right, you're always gonna be a cheater in her eye. And so it's all about perception. And so I don't want to be perceived as a battle rapper or a person that like negativity or beef because I'm not that. Now I'm gonna have to live a life that I don't want to live. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all about positivity. The intro to Castles, bro, is literally giving you 3 steps on how to buy a crib. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's timely to the project, right?
Yeah.
The intro, right on the intro.
The intro, bro. The intro is just 3 steps. That's all it is. It's 3 real steps to buying a crib. And I'm not gonna give it away because I want everybody to listen to the album, man. And so, but it's really 3.
That's worth the price of the ticket, right there.
Literally easy, bro.
Yeah.
Just giving you the game because ain't nobody else gonna give it to us. I had to learn this shit on my own. You know what I mean? Luckily, I had a great ass realtor that kind of explained shit to me and helped me. You know what I'm saying? He didn't just do it. He actually explained why he was doing it, man. Once you get somebody like that, bro, they're a blessing in your life. That actually explain and help you and want to see you make it. That's all the type of fans. Like, I ain't trying to be a millionaire from this rap shit, bro. I ain't trying to be on helicopters and performing and rolling out. I'm trying to create a living, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to, and teach everybody that you don't have to be famous, bro, to make money in this world. You know what I'm saying? To create a livelihood. Like, you just have to create you have to have something that everybody wants a part of that's not money related. You know what I mean? It gotta be something that you create that you're like, I don't do this shit for money. Like, I don't do. I'm set. Like, I'm good. Like, everything I'm doing right now is because I want to do it, and I feel like I got a story and I can change the life of one person. I know the story I got. I can change one person's life, bro, and that's good enough for me. If I can help one person buy a crib and they can reach back to me and say, hey, bro, good looking, man. That advice you got, I was able to buy a crib. Now me and my family in the crib, bro. If somebody can tell you that, bro, like just off of your music, that you was able to help them catapult them into a kingdom and start their life, because that's when life really starts, bro, is when you finally get somewhere in a place in your life where you comfortable. You no longer living check to check, or you gotta watch your back, and to make this move, you gotta watch for the cops, or you gotta make sure this fiend don't fucking tell on you, or if you don't get this fiend no credit, now you gotta watch and hope that they don't go back and tell the cops just because you ain't look out for them. It's that life, bro. Is when you get that stress taken, when you in that shit, you don't feel it, bro. You don't feel the stress and the pain of what you're going through or what you putting nobody else through until you step away from that shit. Once you step away from it, you start looking on the outside, looking in, you're like, oh shit, I ain't have to do none of this shit, but I did it. You know what I mean? Because I had to at that time. But I just want to have somebody look at me and say, that nigga changed my life. He got me a crib, and he didn't have to give me a dime for it. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, like I'm woke right now as fuck. Like I don't know if you can tell, but like, and the worst thing about being woke is looking at everybody else still asleep, bro. Like I commend motherfuckers like I don't know what motherfuckers like, but men like Martin Luther King, bro, Malcolm X, man, because they actually were enlightened as well, man, and they was trying to change everybody else and get everybody else to see the bigger picture, bro. I see everybody that's sleep, all these niggas that sleep. It's so hard for me to get into a mind state to even want to attempt, because you sit down and you try to talk to somebody about some enlightened shit, bro. First thing they gonna say is, I don't want to hear that shit, bro. Like, talk about something else, bro. But then you might get one person, bro, that want to listen and want to hear that shit and take heed to what you're saying. I got so much information, bro, that I can't talk to nobody about. Like, me and my wife just talk back and forth about, because sometimes she's the only person I can actually talk to about this type of shit, because we on the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what our purpose is and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's the conversations that I would want to have. But I ain't got nobody to have that conversation with. Like, niggas don't want to talk about that. Like, men, it's hard to have that conversation because they not at that level to have that conversation. And you can't teach the game. You can't teach the truth to nobody. Like, they got to realize that shit on their own. And then once somebody realizes that, then you know that you can start talking to them about it. You know?
I've often said sometimes it could be written down in a book and you can show it to them and they still won't believe it until they feel it, you know, until they go through it. And you mentioned Malcolm X. Malcolm X said that you can give someone directions all day, but they won't hear or want to listen to your directions until they get to the wrong place. And then they'll want to hear. The whole time they're driving to the wrong place, they don't want to hear your directions. They don't want your help. But not until they get to the wrong place, which is unfortunate, you know. But man, we've had a great talk tonight. I want to appreciate you for coming to sit down in the mission. I can't wait to fully absorb Castles. And as you can say, drop ship. It'll, you know, buy the product from the artist. That's one of the things we support and promote here on the Mission Pod. Buy the actual product direct from the artist. That's the best way you can love and support an artist. You filled up my plate, man. I got a lot of clips to cut out. I got a lot of work to do tomorrow to get this episode out to the people. I want to appreciate you for sitting down. It's been interesting and an incredible story of, man, your outlook is incredible and your beginnings and surviving that is incredible. It's just a great story, man. So, again, thank you for sharing it for me. You know?
I appreciate you having me on, man.
No doubt.
Look out for Castles, August 14th, man. Look out for the Black and Blood freestyle.
People want to reach you. Where they reach you at?
I'm on Instagram at K.BROCK.music.
Facebook jail for the current time.
But you can still go follow my artist page, K.BROCK.music on Facebook. I'm almost at 1,000 followers on that. That's big. I just found out another little trick on that too.
People making money on Facebook, like YouTube and everywhere else, you know. So you got to get your business page and get your people out, get your things out. You know,
10,000 followers.
10,000.
Started getting monetized from Facebook. So and it's a way to do it too. I just found out how to do it. And so just watch me, man. If you don't watch me, bro, you're gonna lose twice, man.
That's it. This is the Mission Swerve 360 with my guest K.BROCK. It's been a great show. Thank you for watching. See you next time on The Mission. Man, we can talk all night.
Yeah, man. Definitely.